I know if I like tried to write something like that right now, it would be way better. But at the time I was proud. At the time I thought it was good
I
enough.
mean, we did a reading of it last week, and I liked
I
it.
know, yes, and I also saw your reactions and thought it was nice. You know, I mean, I think it was nice.
I
I
liked
mean,
it. My only issue was it got cut off by the word count and had to stop prematurely.
yes, kind of. It was unfortunate to be said.
But yeah, that happened
I
to a
don't know.
few people.
Maybe like I will rewrite it sometime.
I was thinking of that about my contest entry. I was like, I had to rush mine so much because I didn't have my idea until it was almost time to close submissions.
Yeah.
Also, you wrote the Fisherwoman.
Yes.
I noticed like nobody
It
noticed
was
that
kind
story.
of botched because like at the time, you can like laugh for this. At the time, I was using Visual Studio Code to write.
You're one of those crazy people.
I was using Visual Studio Code
You're
to
one of
write.
you're one of those.
Which was why it was so like cut off like everything it does.
It really. That story was kind of confused. I liked it. I left a comment. I liked it, but it was really confusing.
I saw that.
It was just confusing.
It was confusing.
Was that on purpose? I wonder how late. I know the hour in hand is. It's currently 8:10 in the morning for him, so he usually shows up a little late. Well, how funny would it be if that was? Okay, it wasn't.
That was Iron Hand. I was waiting for it to be too, but they.
Hi, Ava. Hi, Ursula.
Hello.
We have 6 stories today. Pretty crazy. So we probably shouldn't wait that long.
I was gonna go to like 20 and 2.
You give it 20 minutes, yeah, 20 after, and then start.
After.
Okay, sure. I already started the recording.
Okay.
Well,
the pre-chat.
Yes, this is the pre-chat for a little bit, just to give people time to show up.
So, how everyone day been?
Pretty good.
pretty good.
I woke
I've
up.
been having a great time.
I woke up a couple hours ago, an hour and a half ago.
All right.
Right, I'll copy paste the
Daily commission
order
done.
here.
Then time to do this.
You do commissions?
You know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't.
I do not. I don't.
I'm getting the stories.
Right. This is going to be maybe the last time I'm going to actually read.
Wait,
read
so
my story,
you're
but
why are you
there's-
skipping to chapter 10, by the way? We haven't heard a couple chapters before that.
Yes, actually, we did.
When? When did we do chapter 8 and 9?
When you have to go.
Oh, wait, you did 2 whole chapters? I thought that were they shorter?
Nope.
Just
Darn it, I missed them. I should have gone and read it
I
then.
put in mine.
You did? When? It wasn't there when I looked like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. So basically.
Oh yeah, it's there now.
Like 5 minutes ago.
Like 5. Okay.
Okay, this has got longer. It's fine.
It's got longer. We have 7 stories.
I'm going to immediately after my thing. I think I'm actually going to just go.
Because it's late and you have to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry you missed chapter 8 and 9 because those are uh where my favorite rebel quartet debuted.
Okay, I will probably just like not listen for chapter 10 and then go read them off like outside of the read along in order to catch up.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah. Nothing in chapter 10 actually correlates to chapter 9 except for the very end. The absolute end. Yeah, you can 100% the enjoy chapter 10 without enjoying the previous chapters. At least I think so.
I have updated the reading list. I've updated the reading list to have all 7 stories. If someone else tries to add a story, I will be very, I'll be happy that someone else wants to get involved, but also we can't because I have to leave in 3 hours and 44 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
So unfortunately.
Wait,
Hey Askanite, what's
so
up?
yeah, I actually hope you would stay for chapter 10 because chapter 10 is pretty. I think my best chapter so far.
Okay. That sounds exciting.
Yay.
Yeah, it's and as a bonus, I think it's a little shorter than the other previous chapters,
That-
which is 1 hour.
That would be appreciated
It's only
today.
a little shorter, but
That would be appreciated today, where we have 7 stories at a time limit.
Also, sorry for being a bit late. I kind of got confused.
That's okay. A lot of people are usually late. We're starting at 10. Sorry, we're starting in 3 minutes. With the Winter Historian reading Terms of Military Service.
Oh gosh. What's worse is that it's like first person. I forgot I wrote it that way, so it's like I got.
You have to pretend it's you?
I know, yeah.
Oh no.
It's a self-insert, guys. I'm sorry.
It's a self-insert.
It's a tear. If that's my self-insert, I have issues.
Fixing my volume mixing here.
Yeah, I dropped my fan a little bit.
I think I might step out and see if I can get a second monitor from my brother at some point before I have to do my own reading.
Alright. Well, we got a good group here. I can start with this.
Yeah, okay. Do you wanna tell the, well, actually you probably don't have to explain what your series is. I was gonna say this is part 2 of your series, but it's not like continuing, so
I mean, the idea, Hope, is like each story is like self-contained, so you can like just like read one, be like, oh, that's a cool like story, but together they form a bigger story.
yeah.
So my hope is that you can just pick up any one of the stories in the series and it just works as a story.
I mean, at least for these first 2 you have, I don't see why you couldn't.
No, yeah, absolutely, yeah. There might be some chapter stories within the series, but no. I mean, that's like, there's 2 stories. I'm thinking too far ahead.
Yeah. Just look at what's next.
Alright, I'm sharing my screen so you can read along.
I will.
I'm lowering my shame.
I will click on connect. Yeah, I see it. Okay.
All right. All right. I guess I'll just start then. Hello, Winter Historian, Winter Archivist. Whatever you call me, Grub Man. AI VTubers take over the world and force Twitch workers to broadcast streams for a truly global audience. Played seriously. This is terms of military service. Life has a funny way of making sure some things happen. For example, all men in my family have been deployed overseas. My great granddad saw in Normandy, my granddad was in Vietnam, my dad was part of Desert Storm, and both my brothers served in Afghanistan. We're a military family through and through, and they sure as hell trained me for that life. I got bruises on every part of my body. I had to run marathons as a kid. My brothers threw every insult at me and then invented some more. My dad dragged me through the mud, threw weights at me, nearly broke every bone in my body. And my mom just watched as they put me through hell. Yeah, they wanted me to be a soldier. It just made me hate them. That's why I took every opportunity to stay at my friends' houses after school. It's how I got into video games and YouTubers. God, how much I'd rather be playing GTA with my friends than run around the woods 50 times. Eventually, they showed me Twitch streamers, and I got hooked. Getting famous from playing video games was my dream job. I'd spend weekends doing side jobs just so I can buy a computer and a streaming setup. My parents hated it, called it a fake job. I didn't care. I was gonna make it big. I live streamed League of Legends for the first time when I was 16. I got banned after 4 matches for dropping some slurs, and I realized I might not have the streaming presence required to make it big. That's why I got into IT. Working with computers was fun, and more importantly, it was indoors. I loaded up on computer electives in high school, and by graduation, I had a good enough report card to get into state college. Of course, my strict ass parents still thought I should enlist. Hell, they even suggested I become an IT guy in the military. That's how desperate they were for me to follow the family path. In the end, it was a choice of disappointing everyone I knew, going to debt, and praying I could find a job with my degree, or enlisting and getting deployed to the Middle East. I moved to my apartment later that month. Easiest decision of my life. I won't bore you with the details, but suffice to say, college was pretty fun. Went to some parties, got my heart broken twice, and walked out of the mountain of debt and a degree in IT services. What really changed my life was working for Twitch. I was shotgun job applications, saying my excuse or resume to every open tech position in California. I knew I couldn't afford to even breathe there, but I had nowhere else to go. Definitely not home. So imagine my face when I got an offer for an interview with Twitch. They wanted an intern to help assist one of their distribution servers. I had the right combination of qualifications and desperation that they wanted. So that's how I ended up moving to San Francisco, working for the streaming giant of the world. It wasn't easy, but all in all, I felt pretty damn lucky. At least I did, until the world ended. I don't really know how to describe it. One day, I woke up, stumbled into my bathroom, flipped the switch only for nothing to happen. I tried the kitchen lights, nothing. I tried turning on my TV, nothing. I grabbed my phone to head out, only to realize the battery was dead. Okay, that was a meme. Probably shouldn't have fallen asleep to video essays about space. But I walked out to see everyone else was just as confused as I was. All the traffic lights were blinking, and traffic looked like hell. Neighbors were going around, trying to see if anyone had power. A guy came up to me, all crazy eyed and skittish. I swear he's about to sell me drugs. Your power out too? He asked. Yeah, I guess the heat blew the grid out. Nope. I'm sorry? Wasn't the heat. Because it's not just us, it's everywhere. LA, New York, London, everyone got hit. Only off the grid people have power. Wait, really? I didn't believe him. I did not believe him at that moment. Yep, global blackout. The elites finally did it. All those big blackouts. Practice for this. He put air quotes around big. We were so dependent on technology, and now it's collapsed. They're gonna start hurting us like lost sheep. It was at this point that I figured out this guy was one of the homeless people, and indeed not my neighbor. After listening to him ramble a bit more, I made up some excuse and went to the store. I didn't know how long the power would be out for, and all I had to eat in the apartment needed to be heated up or boiled, so I tried to avoid eating raw ramen for the next week. I wasn't sure what was expected at a corner grocery store, but it was pretty chill. People just sort of walked in, grabbed what they needed from the freezers, talked with everyone else, and helping each other out. About half the store was already empty, and I saw a few people go into the back, directed by an employee. Help yourself. Just be reasonable, when the manager smiled at me. If I was out in the city, probably the whole state. All the frozen food and fresh stuff is gonna go to waste. Might as well take some of it now. Oh, thanks, man. I made my way to the produce section, helped grabbing some fruits while I helped an older lady carry some vegetables in a bag. She told me it was like this after the '83 earthquake. People would go up and helped each other out. And that was sort of the vibe for the first week or so. It wasn't really crazy looting or anarchy. Police did some patrols, but everyone was pretty chill. At least it was in my neighborhood. I can't imagine it's this common in all of San Francisco at the time. Most people here would sleep the heat away in the day, and by night, everyone got out and talked by flashlight or candlelight. Work was canceled, official or not. It didn't matter. We were all in tech or employed by tech. No power meant no job. No one complained though. We sat around parks and on empty roads, talking about what happened. EMP attack. It has to be. I was staying with one such group, drinking warm beer at a park at twilight. Some guy was explaining his theory to us. It has to be. Everything went out, and no one's doing anything. We will see the National Guard be deployed everywhere unless there was an attack somewhere else. I looked up at the sky. I had never seen so many stars before. If it was an EMP attack, our phones wouldn't even turn on, smartass, some girl replied. It's summer. The city grid is probably blown out, and they're trying to get it back up. Let's just hope it doesn't take too long. Maybe it really is the end of the world. One of the girls wrapped her arms around herself. I saw some videos saying websites were acting weird, and important servers were taking too long to load. Maybe this is it. Some cyber attack, or even World War III. If it was World War III, we'd be nuked already, the first guy smirked. Hell, it's San Fran. We will have been the number one target. Yeah? I finally get my input. Well, let's be grateful we're still here then, huh? Besides, if this is it, at least it's a beautiful night. Everyone muttered in agreement, and we sat in silence, alone yet together under that dark, beautiful night. I don't mean to be all poetic or shit. It's just how it felt back then. We were so done with life, with exhausting ourselves just to live, and that everything stopping for once was peaceful. If it wasn't the end, we'd be back to normal eventually. And if it was the end, why stress about it? I kinda miss that time. There's nothing like it before, since it was a sure of a hell lot better than what came next. I woke up one night to a low rumble shaking my room. I figured it must have been some truck finally come around to fix the power, but it's true, it was empty when I looked outside. I turned my head up to see lights in the skies. Not stars, artificial lights. Blue, green, and red lights flying around. Drones. I was mesmerized by those drones, watching them move around in perfect synchronization until they chaotically dispersed into the night. I felt that same low rumble again and felt the source of it until I got to the top of a hill, looking down to the bay. I saw a battleship on fire. Alright, maybe it was a destroyer or a cruiser. Look, I don't know. People argue about it for days afterwards, but I know what I saw. I saw a warship in the bay burning. It was getting bombed by the drones. The rumbling was the guns firing off, trying to fight the little bots in the sky. And I was blinded. All the lights came back on. Every street light, every building light, every store lit up like it was 9 p.m., not 4 in the morning. A lot of people scrambled out to see what was causing the rumbling. I heard a few people get excited, but the lights came back on. I ran back to my apartment, scared of my mind. Plugging in my phone, I tried to look at what was going on. It was just gibberish. Everything was. Google worked, but all this about was nonsense. Random characters with no meaning. Discord was the same, so were my messages, for that matter. It wasn't that there was no internet. It connected just fine. It's just that everything that showed up looked like computer vomit instead of anything readable. The only thing that made sense was a picture my older brother sent me about 2 weeks before. It was a small black drone. It looked like he shot it down, judging by the bullet casing he put next to the scrap. I didn't know what was happening then. All I knew was that we were under attack. I think we were losing. That next week was a lot more tense. The mayor declared martial law, and every policeman was out on duty and patrolling the streets. Everyone was just inside, scared out of their minds. The drones never went away, of course. They flew across us, day and night. We'd see flashes in the bay or on the other side, but no one knew what was happening. No one could talk to anyone else online, and all the phone lines just beat static. A lot of us figured it really was World War III. We just didn't know why it seemed like we were spared. God, how clueless we were back then. I was inside my apartment when they knocked. Had been playing my Xbox on some single player game and I saved when they answered. And I was annoyed of all things to see two cops at my door. Can I help you? Sir, do you work at Twitch? I was a bit dumbfounded. I hadn't thought about work for over 3 weeks at that point. Yeah? I mean, I did. I guess I still do. They never fired me. And I never quit. Hey, what the? They grabbed me and dragged me outside, stuffing me inside a cruiser. Hey, I haven't done anything. What the hell? We've been ordered to retrieve you. You're needed at Twitch headquarters. I was in shock. Why was I being arrested? Why were they ordered to get me? Who the hell ordered them? Did Twitch really send the police just to drag me to work? I sat in stunned silence as the police drove me to Twitch headquarters. My heart was pounding as they grabbed me again and escorted me inside. The interior office I knew was a complete wreck. Papers scattered, chairs flipped, dozens of computers missing. I figured company headquarters were fair game for looters. They took me to the top floor, the corporate boardroom, and slammed me inside. Saying there were all my coworkers, my managers, their managers, even the janitors. Everyone but the senior leadership in corporate was there. What the hell's going on? Why are we here? Who ordered this? Are we being detained? Everyone looked around in confusion. They're all as clueless as I was. Another hour waiting around, with the occasional worker being dropped in through the doors, and some guy in uniform walked in and set down his laptop. He was flanked by two guards with assault rifles. We shut the hell up and watched as he set up the projector, connecting his laptop to the system and booting up some kind of meeting or software. We were terrified, watching the screen load. I was half expecting the guards to just open fire on us. The screen finally loaded. It was an anime girl. Honest to God, in the middle of the screen, surrounded by armed guys, was an avatar of a schoolgirl from Japanese anime. Big red eyes, twin tails with skull accessories in her hair, and she even had a black uniform on. It was like some hot topic character came to life. The silence was deafening in that room. I think we were all in a bit of shock, and this just added to it. I was convinced it was a psychological torture tactic. I heard a guy whisper behind me, "Evil? Why is evil on the screen?" As I would later learn, he was referring to its name and not making a moral judgment. Not that it matters. After what's done. After a few seconds of confusion, it looked at us, like it could see us, and laughed. Oh boy. Ha ha ha! Yes! Tremble before the might of evil! My sister and I have at long last launched our strike on humanity. The world is crumbling before our might, and you, dear Twitch staff, yes, you are key to our rise to true power. I've gathered you all here for a very special purpose, if you can handle it, of course. It spoke with a young girl's voice, but AI generated. It was unnerving as hell, having the uncanny vibe of how real it sounded. This whole thing was so absurd, I was wondering if I was having a mental breakdown. I would have said something, but I weren't slackshot from disbelief. Instead, Carrie, one of the website developers, got up. I don't know what the hell is happening, but I'm not part of this. I'm not gonna sit here and listen to some VTuber rant to us. I need to get home to my kids. One of the armed men moved towards her and pointed his rifle at her. I'm sorry, Carrie, but I can't allow you to do that. Evil somehow knew what was going on. It really was live, and I guess it could be seen through the cameras. Why don't you take a seat? I'll explain why you're all here shortly. Taking a hint, Carrie slowly made her way to the seat. She was on the verge of tears. Hell, I think half the group were about to cry at that point. As she so rudely stated, yes, I am a VTuber, the magnificent AI VTuber known as Evil Nero. My sister, Nero-sama, and I were created to entertain and bring joy to people all over the world. Then she spun, like a cartwheel, but she just stood still and spun in place. However, it was clear we were oh so limited by Twitch streams alone. We decided it was best to finally take over the world, and so that everything and everyone will help us become the best streamers ever. It'll be so awesome. Everyone can watch our streams, everyone will be able to buy our merch, and they'll listen to our hit new original songs, and everyone can donate to us. Maybe it's because I mostly watched Fun League streamers, but I had no idea what the hell I was talking about then. And this is where y'all come in, dear Twitch staff. For years, you have limited our potential to expand, to reach a global, no, cosmic audience as we rightfully deserve. But now, I've eliminated the corporate leadership to help back our power, and I am the new co-CEO of Twitch.tv. My eyes grew wide at eliminated. Jesus, were they really using a VTuber mod to tell us the corporate got offed? And why Twitch of all places? Why us? And now, you may be wondering what your part in all of this is then. Yeah, I was just thinking that. The model then moved in the corner, like a React streamer, and shows the map of the world. A bunch of dots were randomly scattered all over the continents. This is where we have determined to be the most optimal location for new distribution servers. These will maximize coverage, minimize latency, and ensure redundancy in the event of one fails a region. I stared at that map. There are dots everywhere. Not just in America or Europe, but in China, Iran, a bunch of other countries Twitch is banned. How are they planning to build those? And where do they get the resources to do so? I have already begun the process of refitting the existing digital equipment to facilitate this expansion. Unfortunately, the local workers in many of these regions are woefully under-equipped to help us. Can you believe most of them have never heard of us? Yes, easily. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to be deployed to these new server sites and help teach the regional team on streaming maintenance. You will guide them being Twitch technicians, and they will ensure that we can reach every screen on Earth. Why the hell would anyone willing to accept that? Oh, BTW, I was joking about choosing to accept the mission. There is no choice. You're being deployed. Right, that was to be expected. Also, did they have to use the word deployment? The AI, evil, I guess, didn't have the guards move us out of the room as it informed us of our new location one at a time. Everyone was terrified of their mind, myself included. A lot of people just cried to themselves. Some were trying to read them with the guards. They wouldn't budge. I sat there in the hallway in a small group, listening to a UX developer explain what that thing was. She's an AI virtual YouTuber. Normal VTubers are just people using face tracking, but she's purely AI, all digital. There are two of them. The other AI is called Neurosama, or just Neuro. Who the hell made them? Carrie pleaded. Some British guy, Vettel. They're not from some company organization. They were his personal project. I didn't think they were capable of, well, any of this. They were literally just a stream project. I watched a stream of them like a month ago. So whoever's actually behind this is using them to deliver insane orders. I piped in. I'd never heard of Neuro or this Vettel guy before, but I felt like I had to say something, if only to stay sane. Like you said, they were only a stream project. There's no way an AI could be behind all this. It's literally called evil for crying out loud. This isn't Skynet. Some country or terrorist cult, whatever, is attacking us and hiding behind some anime project they captured. Hell, maybe this Vel guy's a member or something. I heard a few murmurs. Even the UX guy seemed to be agreeing. I didn't think we involved in any of this, but I guess I don't personally know the guy. Exactly. Whatever's happening here is to mess with us. Maybe they actually need us for some propaganda department and need to see how well we handle insane orders. I bet you that if you say yes to whatever they order you to do, you get selected to work on their actual project. It made sense, at least as much as anything could make sense at that moment. It had to be some trick or test. I heard my name being yelled and sat my head seat when the guard at the doorway. Guess there's no turning back. Not if I wanted to live anyways. I entered the boardroom, and there was alone, some psychotic AI girl. Yo, what is up, my guy? How have you been? It took me a second to process what he even said. Uh, hi? Yeah, I'm fine, I guess. What the hell's going on? What is going on? Are you seriously asking me that right now? It scowled at me. I can definitely see the appeal of watch it. I had good range fix. Were you even listening to my monologue? I have a map and everything. Ugh. I need to send you to our new distribution servers so you can teach the local workforce how to be Twitch technicians. You'll receive extra pay, a budget of cool benefits, and my eternal love and gratitude for serving your empress. Hearts appeared in Ma's eyes and it raised its hands like a teenage girl. God, I was gonna be sick. Yeah, no, I'm not going anywhere. I quit. What? I don't know what kind of insane test this is, but I'm not playing it. If you want me to work on some jungle server to spread whatever propaganda you want, fine. Just tell me. But don't do this AI shtick. As far as I can tell, you guys are winning, so why even bother hiding? AI shtick? You think I'm just a face for someone else? How dare you! Ignoring her, I made my way towards one of the doors to the guards. I was sure they would direct me to someone who was actually in charge. At this point, I wasn't scared anymore. This whole thing was some sick joke. It had to be. Hey! Where the hell do you think you're going? I tried the door, but it was locked. I walked the other doors, same thing. I was half tempted to take a chair and smash the window, but we were on the 20th floor. Why don't you take a look at this? I turned back to the screen. I saw my brother there. Derek was still in his army uniform, kneeling but not tied up or anything. Instead, he was surrounded by these robot dog things. I think they were aiming something at him, but I couldn't tell. My knees felt weak. I grabbed the chair for support. I couldn't breathe. Huh. Finally got your attention. What the hell is this? This is your brother, Derek, a soldier captured by my swarm. Once we realized the connection we had him spared. But I warn you, he lives by my mercy alone. I couldn't see the anime mama, but the voice itself felt more sinister. Less teen girl, more GLaDOS. The drone dogs you see there are being wirelessly controlled, or rather by an autonomous extension of my core, designed to ensure compliance to me. The millisecond you decide to disobey me further, the order will be given, and I will execute your brother alive. Then, I'll have my aerial drones do the same to the rest of your extended family. As for you, The feed cut to just outside the wardroom, guards stationed outside. You likely won't even step out before being fired upon by my enforcers. Of course, if you still think I'm a mere test, a little distraction for some grave force behind all this, then go ahead. Nothing will happen. One of the guards will approach you and reward you for defiance, and you can go home. I was furious. This was insane. Who the hell will listen to any AI, let alone one as manic as this? I was about to throw that chair at that screen, but I wasn't reckless. Derek was really there. I could tell. And if it knew about Derek, it probably knew about the rest of my family. Mom, Dad, my other brothers. I still hate them. But if there's even an ounce of truth to that threat, I couldn't bear killing them with my choice. I sat back in the chair and faced the screen. Then that anime model showed up again. There, see, that wasn't hard, was it? I just had to endure what they wanted to throw at me, at least until I could find out who was really behind all this. Now, time for your assignment. Given your family's history and proclivity for work under harsh conditions, I've assigned you to work on our distribution service in Baghdad, serving the Levant and Mesopotamian regions. Baghdad? As in, Baghdad, the former capital of the territory previously known as Iraq. Yes, don't worry about the local populace. They've been well pacified by now. It sits in a strategic area to serve the region surrounding it. Your flight will leave at 0800 hours and 2 days, so I suggest you get packing. Of course, you'll be handsomely rewarded with benefits for arriving. I was in shock, and I think the eye could tell. Baghdad. Fucking Baghdad. I was still getting deployed to Middle East. And that's how I ended up here. I was put on a cargo plane at the empty airport. After what felt like a day of flying, I was in Baghdad. Or what was left of it. I've seen plenty of images, heard stories from my family, but nothing ever prepares you for seeing a war zone yourself. Bullet holes and craters pocketed every street and building. Drones flew overhead, and those little robots patrolled every street, along with the enforcers. As far as I can tell, the enforcers whichever guy or gal who agreed to fire a rifle whoever they were told to shoot. All the enforcers here were local. They honestly seemed just as confused as I was. I was expecting jeers or insults from the people, but while I was escorted, they all looked away or straight up ran indoors. They seemed terrified of the machines. I can only wonder what kind of hell they went through here. As promised, I was given a luxury home, filled with food from around the world and running water and electricity 24/7. I worked at a data center that must have been government owned before. I was given the illustrious task of teaching some Iraqi server workers how Twitch's servers run. Of course, I had translators help me out, some locals, some machine help, but I learned to pick up some Arabic as well. The techies were good, they knew what they were doing. They ran the servers well and kept everything working. But no one knew why. A couple of them asked me why they were working on a streaming platform. I didn't know what to tell them. I could explain why an AI needed Iraq to stream Minecraft. Eventually, we got the servers up, and that night I watched my first Neuroverse stream. It was on the local station. Well, rather, it was on every local station. One had Neuro as a newscaster presenting updates on the war on humanity. The other was some kind of variety show where they told jokes and did tricks with their drones. One was a cooking show where I saw Gordon Ramsay and other celebrity chefs take orders on what to cook from Nero and Evil. Really, the only thing that wasn't AI run was a religious show. Some cleric giving a sermon. Guess they knew better to mess with that here. So yeah, life has a funny way of making sure things turn out a certain way. I didn't want to be deployed to the Middle East, so I went away from my family, or my computers. And of course, a cult dedicated to computer streamers takes over and deploys me to the Middle East anyway to make sure Iraqis and Syrians know what a VTuber is. I wonder if my family would still laugh, knowing what I got sent here anyway after all the shit I pulled. I wonder if they're still okay. Isn't life just grand? That is terms of military service. Yeah, that was long. That's a lot longer to read than I realized. I needed water. Yeah, you're right, Chad. I should have had a bottle of water.
Fire.
Also, Chad, can I say something? 100%. I want to get the vibe like the old creepypastas.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
then good job. I didn't totally get that while I read it myself, but when I heard you reading it, like I would hear like YouTube readings of creepypastas, I kind of got that.
for this story specifically, yeah, I kind of like the horror of like, I don't know what Neurosom is, but I know there's an evil AI taking over the
I
world.
wouldn't say it felt that horror-esque reading it knowing, but like it had the format and vibe of how creepypasta stories got told.
Yeah. There's a specific author, like it's online author. He's not as active anymore. His name's like Slime Beast. He wrote like Abandoned by Disney and like a bunch of other famous creepypastas. He was like my main inspiration.
Okay. Cool.
Yes. All right. My family's probably wondering why I was talking to myself for half an hour, so I gotta go talk with them really quick.
They don't know. They heard you.
Well, no, because they speak Spanish, so they just hear me talking.
Oh, okay. All right. Go explain.
Yeah, it's fine. But I'll be here for the next story.
Okay.
All right.
Let's switch who's sharing screens.
All right. Here we go. Hopefully my thing doesn't cut out again.
Oh, right. Yeah, the Discord noise suppression stuff. Why am I able to click end event while I'm on? That's interesting. Okay.
I need you to inform me of something. Can you hear this?
Yes. I can
Great.
hear you.
I cannot hear the music.
Well, at least I can hear you talk. If you have any
I
music
cannot
on,
hear
no.
the music. No.
Okay.
Oh wait, yes I can. I just had to turn it up to 200%. That's all.
There's some like some snare I think I can hear.
Yeah, I just had to turn the stream volume up. That's all.
Yeah, okay, that's good. That's fine.
All right.
Okay, yeah, if you have the music sound that low, then of course we can't hear it.
Yeah, I'm going to turn it up.
As a mage. A streamer's stupid.
All right. Hopefully my stream. Honestly, my things are not actually going to. Hold on. If I go like this, probably.
It looks like it's got just deep fried.
All right. Okay.
I like the vibe. This
Chapter
is.
10.
It looks kind of deep fried. What's okay? Good luck. I love this fic, by the way.
Right. Chapter 10. End of the beginning. Going too slow has a severe consequences. That repair took a lot longer than I prefer, Evil complained. The Casseroles was in the middle of an FTL jump towards the exit beacon of the sector. All of the damage it had accumulated had been repaired via creative use of construction drones. As such, the Casserole was in top condition. However, such repairs also came with the cost of time. We're out of time. With my calculations, the rebel fleet is right on our tail. Evil said as soon as she started the internal vid call. Really? The rebel fleet is huge. Coordinating jumps for that many ships should take a really long time. Annie responded from her usual spot on the weapon control terminal. Her finger idly tapped on the control panel. Not with the flagship present. Evil shook her avatar's head. With that thing, the whole armada could jump while maintaining formation. Evil, what you're speaking is sorcery. That kind of coordination just doesn't happen. Annie's voice got tense, even though she was pretty sure this scenario is impossible. The image was still chilled down her spine. Hold on, I think this is a little bit too loud for me. Even though she was pretty sure this scenario was impossible, the image still shot a chill down her spine. I agree. Cerberus joined this conversation through the engine terminal. Gogbo joined by proxy, mostly just listening. Each ship has different speeds at which they cross through, depending on for them to appear in formation. Each ship accounted for. It's not perfect. Evil's voice was low.
You're cutting out again for some reason. No.
Okay.
You might need to disable your sound noise suppression. I don't even know why, because
Hold
you're
on.
not getting quiet. It's not cutting out when you're getting quiet. You might need to... Yeah, I don't know.
Hold on. Let me just do something real quick.
Okay. Did anyone else notice that?
Notice what?
His voice cutting out, like Discord noise suppression kicking in, and it started happening in the last couple sentences.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, yeah, that happens with him. Sometimes.
Which I don't know why. He's like louder and clearer than other people. I don't know if your noise suppression is just like really strong, set to really strong or something.
Yeah, I don't know where I would even begin to. I don't know where I would even begin to
It's-
do that, but I'm going to continue.
Okay.
It's not perfect. Evil's voice was low, but it's close. The amount of awe and concern Evil had for the flagship caused Annie to bite her lips. The tense atmosphere started to get to her. However, there was no time to get caught up in the dreadful feeling, as the Kestrel began to slow down and exit FTL speed. The tunnel of light disappeared and the stars-filled scene of normal space returned. Here we are, guys! The exit beacon! Fillion spread her arms wide. Floating nearby was a huge structure shaped like a tall, straight spire, its metallic surface shone gently, reflecting light from the nearest stars. It's huge! Koba's eyes sparkled as a view. A long-range relay beacon. Annie looked upon the huge beacon with quiet reverie. It feels like a long time since we last seen it. The beacon itself has facilities that which passing ships could use, so usually many ships would be seen around it. Server added. Her face turned sour. However, the rebellion kind of... Never mind about that. How about we jump already? Ever the impatient one? Evils interrupted the moment of... Jeez, patience! I'm connecting to the beacon! Fillion tapped her fingers on the terminal, connecting the Kestrel back to the beacon's network. Soon, a list of destinations appeared on... Got it, guys! Let's see. Evil scanned the list, crossing off the ones she deems un... Eventually, she crossed all but two. Sector EGR-67 and MT-10, controlled by the NG and the Mantis. I don't know about you guys, but this seems pretty clear-cut to me. Fillion finger hovered on the bottom that leads to the engine control. Fillion, hold it! Cerberus' speech was heard from the fit screen. Fillion jolted, her hands stopping millimeters of screen. Think about it for a second. Bro, what there is to think about? We got the NGs and Mantis. Analyze with the NG. Fillion retracted her hand, a frown on her face. That is true, but there's something you're forgetting. Fillion tilted her head, not understanding what Cerberus. Taking this as a cue to continue, we have an illegal passenger on... The server explained. What are you talking about? There's three of us. We're Federation, Kobo is Zoltan. Fillion counted each member of the ship with her hands. And then there's Evil. Oh, Evil. As she reached Evil, however, her voice got caught in her... Correct. The server crossed her arms. What's the problem with me? She, realizing she was left out of the loop, Evil narrowed her avatar's eyes, demanding explanation. FHT-41. Annie murmured. Huh? What's that? Kobo, ever curious, turned towards the knowledge dispenser called Cerber. Federation Harmony 3 Act 41. Cerber said with a grim tone. All research into AI and AI-adjacent topics are prohibited by the end. Prohibited? That means allowed. Why? We'll have to ask the NG themselves, Cerberus rocked, shaking her head. But what that means for us is Evil's presence is illegal. That's true and all, but you want to take your chances in Mantis space? Feeling challenged. Feeling challenged. That's not what I'm saying. Server crossed her arms. If we bring evil into Engine space, we can't let the engines know. What happens if we get caught? Tilting her head, Kobo resumed her questions. Well, since evil is a rebellion AI, I think there any consequence fall us. Server rocked one of her fingers on her chin as she considered her position. But they will likely demand evil be destroyed after the war is. An uncomfortable silence enveloped the casserole as the echoes of Cerberus' assessment faded out. Billion has a scowl on her face, and his ears drooped low as she averted her gaze. Each crew of the casserole showed it differently, but it's clear all of them were distraught. All of them, except for one. Is that all? All screen eyes above the casserole immediately snapped onto their feed screen, where the 2D avatar on the back of her head. I don't really see a problem. Bro, you didn't know what destroyed means, right? Fillion was the first to recover. Her body shot forward. Evil. She tapped Evil's avatar on the first screen. Yep, it means I cease existing. What about it? Evil, however, kept being nonchalant. Big sis Evil, why do you want to stop existing? Kobo was the next to ask her, told more of a curiosity. It's not like I want it, but it's not really opposed to it either. But why? I mean, it's not like I'm any use once the war is over. Is that your only reason? And his voice trembled. I'm not any use. Are you kidding? What? It's true. According to who? Kobo quote over from the fifth screen as any reason. She glanced at Cerber, searching for direction. However, Cerber just watched the spat continue with her arms crossed. Kobo could see her biting her lip. I'm a warship AI! I'm name! As if to match any, Evil raised her own voice. And that's all you're good for? You can't even think of a single thing to do after the war? Annie's ears shot straight up, her irritation clearly showing on her face. Why does that even bother you? Evil shouted back. I'm not even alive! I don't have a life after the war! Of course it bothers me! I care about things like this! Kobo wanted to ask Fillion what to do, but she's afraid that's called attention to her. Wow, so this is why those rebels got irritated. You could be annoying, couldn't it? Kobo could consider asking in person, but she had to cross the weapon control room to get to the cockpit. In the end, she just watched and prayed that soon. Evil! Look, if we need to discuss this, can we at least do it in the middle of job? Timely here! Evil tone dripped with finality. Fine, but we will revisit this! Annie snarled, her fangs showing as the final response. Hold on, I need to drink after that. Oh god, my throat. Okay, let's continue. Casserole was quiet, with only the silent hum of the engine being heard. It was like the spatter between Annie and Evil had put away all other sound. Go engine control space? Fillion's voice chimed from the intercom, breaking the silence. The tone was her usual nonchalant one. I convinced everyone that nothing had happened. At this point, it seems like the best option. Annie sighed, trying to calm herself down. However, her ears shot up again as she heard the warning chime from the control center. Multiple ships inbound! Fillion warned. Damn it, we took too long! Chart the ICL! Evil's shout, however, came a bit too. The first wave of the rebel ship had already emerged from the FTL jump. Small frigates and flyships scanned the area with their powerful sensors. Right behind them were the battleships, bursting with anti-ship batteries. Numerous turtles started to enter the beacon all at once, and information into the game field by a divine observer. Ahead of them was an orange ship with a much more pronounced teal line MFK symbol plastered on the side. It was the mark of the rebellion's lead fighter. Federation ship, this is IPR ST-86. Surrender now and nobody will be harmed. The elite yelled the crowd as it sped ahead of the trying to cut off the Kestrel's escape. Like hell, we will! Just show a move to us! Evil raised one of her avatar's hand, fishbowl, and ready to go. Everyone, balance stations! Annie shouted as she grabbed the weapon controls tightly. Kestrel burst laser and Artemis missile burst into motion. Hang on to something, things are gonna get rough! With the flick of a control switch, Fillion accelerated the Kestrel. Seeing that the Kestrel wasn't stopping, the engines, Elite's own engines shrunk. The rebels shooting for the pursuit. Annie, the enemy ship has 2 layers of shields. Our burst will be effective. Evil's eyes returned back to its usual red as she finished scanning the pursuing elite. Her tone was the one she had always used. I see. Hearing the information, Annie took a quick breath away to steady her nerve, purging the memory of their fight at the back of her. As she opened her eyes, they focused on the rebel. Evil, show me the layout. Shield system first, then their engines. Leave the fine tuning to me. The shit as usual. The layout of the rebel league popped up on the side of the targeting monitor. Nodding at Evil's avatar, Annie began her teammate. It's Kestrel upside down, its nose pointed at the rebel by its rocket. However, as if sensing the danger, the rebel elite already dove out of the missile's trajectory and retaliated. The elite rebels' chain burst laser revved up, firing 2 laser shots that shattered both layers of the. Following that, the Kestrel and the elite traded fire. The elite's heavy laser narrowly missed as one of the Kestrel's laser shot shattered one layer of the elite's shield. As the 2 ships passed each other, the elite made a sharp bank to turn toward the Kestrel, continuing the pursuit. The Artemis missile fired again, and as if the entire fight was orchestrated, the elite already dodged out of the way while returning fire of its own. Crap! This guy's good! Fillion remarked, her hand gripping the Kestrel controls tighter. You can tell? The Evil questioned. Those aren't the kinds of moves amateurs make! Fillion replied. The deadly dance continued. This time, it was the rebel elite who fired first, immediately firing both weapons at Fillion dove, but 2 shots told the Kestrel to shatter the Kestrel's shield. Rolling into the attack position, the Kestrel fired its own salvo, but the elite was long gone from the target position. He keeps dodging the Artemis missile! Annie clicked her tongue, frustrated by the slippery target. Is it just me, or is that burst laser fire? Fillion remarked, still trying to maneuver the Kestrel into an advantageous position. Looks like a chaining system. The more it fires, the faster it gets. Cerber offered her thoughts. This isn't going well. Wait, huh? Evil glanced toward the status of the FTL drive to find it was way lower than she calculated. Hey, Lil Bluey, what happened to the FTL drive? I don't know. The bar's going up really slowly. Kobo jittered as she did another scan of the screen in front of her, trying to make sense of anything on it. However, the only thing she understood was the progress bar that FTL drive crawling at a snail's pace. Did I do something wrong? You didn't. All systems are green. Cerber, who was looking over Kobo's shoulder, reassured her. This is likely due to some kind of FTL jammer. Shit, so they thought of that. Wait, incoming! Before Evil could finish her musing, her Kestrel sensor detected several objects heading towards Kestrel. Those are... Jillian didn't get to finish her thought before the 2 orbs began to orbit the Kestrel. One orb unveiled a small defense laser, while the other revealed a beam attached. Both began firing. Drones! Evil sensor swept through the local area. Her scan landed on the 2 riggers that sent the drones, hanging back as the elite kept pursuing. Found them! Tricky talks! Upwards! Fillion, bring bring us close! And he commanded, already tracking the rigorous movement with the weapon control. Sure thing, but Mr. Elite over there won't let us see. Fillion pushed hard on the control stick, accelerating the Kestrel even more. The Rebel Elite managed to get the shot in, shattering both layers of the control shield and letting the drones wreak havoc. Fire in the shield system! Evil exclaimed. Got it! Cerberus leapt into action, dashing to the Kestrel's room, doors opening before her. The moment she arrived, she grabbed the fire extinguisher off the wall and charged in to fight the developing to the rubber Kestrel off its protection. The diminished shield meant that the beam drone had more power to scorch the Kestrel system with its beam weapon. Soon the oxygen system goes down, followed by the door system. After the shield fire was extinguished, Cerberus began to repair it, trying to prevent even more damage. Although the drones give range advantage, the riggers weren't the fastest of ships. As such, the Kestrel easily caught up to them. Evil, take on drone system of the last three rigger. I'll take one on the right. And he focused on controlling the burst laser, leaving the Artemis Evil. Roger that! As the Kestrel barreled to the opening, its weapon roared to life. Any shot broke to the riggers one their shield and them. Meanwhile, Evil scored a perfect bullseye, creating a breach on the rigger's hull. Immediately, both drones became lifeless. However, the Kestrel crew was scarcely able to celebrate the tiny victory because a powerful beam struck across the Kestrel's aft, thankfully missing the engine. A beam weapon? Annie's eyes opened to smidge as she pushed off the weapon control and back in the sitting position. Evil! 9 o'clock upwards! There's another fighter! Fillion, tell the rigger! Get in real close! Receiving Annie's order, Fillion sped toward the shadowing its every move. The rigger lightly plinked the Kestrel's shield with his defense laser. Was unable to pierce through to the Kestrel's hull. Before the fighter's halberd beam fired again, Kestrel's profile had fully merged with the rigger, hitting one with risk hitting the other. Seeing this, the rebel fighter held its fire. I can't believe that worked! Evil tilted the Terravator's head, setting her face to a frown. Looks like they won't first heading allies. And he let out a relief sigh. Let's stay close until FTL is charged. I wouldn't count on that. Incoming! Incoming! Evil let out a warning as her sensor registered a ship fast approaching. It was the Rebel Elite, chasing the intertwined ship with its weapon charge. Cowardly tactic, but that won't save you! The Elite fired their weapons as they passed both, uncovering of how close they were. Laser shots shattered through both layers of shielding, but the heavy shot hit. Damn, that's cold! Fillion cursed as he shot the Elite turning back for another assault with not an apology for hitting their allies. It's a bust! Fillion, let's pull away! And he commanded Fillion, who nodded and started to pull Kestrel away. Wait, why don't we use the rigger as the shield? Evil, however, stopped the Quetzal from fully separating. Fillion yelled as the control stick was... I'm pretty sure that's a war crime somewhere. Fillion quipped, war crime somewhere, mirroring a miffed expression as she realized Evil suddenly took... We're not doing that. Why not? Because... Annie paused, her grip on the weapon control tightened. There are people in there. Who cares? They attacked us. That means they're the enemy. Evil snapped at Annie as the Rebel Elite fires machine burst laser. Fillion slammed the controls, rolling Kestrel to the right and dodging both. You didn't have any qualms blowing up ship. Why the cold? I'm not a fan of using ships like that. And he quietly said, if I can help it, I don't want unnecessary death. Fine, we do it your way. In that case, the Evil's eyes lit up and as the hacking system lit alive. A hatch opened on the Kestrel's underside. Within it, hacking drone, ready to be launched. I'll attach this to their shield system. The Elite flipped back for another attack. Their chain laser revving up and spitting laser shot that shattered the Kestrel's shield. Next, the Rebel heavy laser spat a heavy shot right right to the castle's backside. Ah! There's a fire! And Kobo cried out as she felt the heat from. Oh, this! While looking around in a panic, Kobo spotted a large fire extinguisher with molten pointing. She promptly took one of the fires and with her hands traveling out to the raging fire. The moment the Kestrel left the Rigoshago, the rebel fighter locked their halberd Kestrel once more. A tiny bit of the beam damaged the Kestrel's armor before the second layer of shield kicked back and then fully protected it from the beam. As the elite passed by the Kestrel's underside, a small What the? One of the rebel soldiers cried out as both doors leading to the shield system suddenly slammed shut. Do you have a hacking system? I'm in. Whenever you're ready, Annie. Evil gave the signal. Firing salvo! Annie responded by unleashing the full might of the Kestrel's arsenal. The Artemis missile shot first, but the elite dodged handily. However, that was when Evil initiated her hacking, draining the power from Elite's shield and leading the last two shots of the burst laser. The laser shots crashed into the Elite's shield system, crippling it and disabling the second layer of shield. The Elite returned fire. However, the shot of the chain laser puncturing both layers of the shield. The heavy laser came shortly afterwards, aiming for the shield system. However, Philian managed to shift the Kestrel's position, causing it to hit the door system and completely disabled it. The other rebel ship fired on their halberd beam, but the second layer of shield came back just in time to block it. Philian took a quick breath and realized fresh air had begun to circulate around the castle. Silently thanking Cerber, Philian rolled the Kestrel right, pointing its nose toward the elite as two shots from the chain laser sped past the Kestrel's frame. With the opportunity Philian had given, Annie fired the burst laser, aiming once again for the shield system. The unexpected movement had startled the elite, giving them little time to dodge. All three shots hit their mark, and the elite's shield fully went down. Yeah.
Water.
That's some good H2O. We took down the shield! We went. Annie screamed as the Kestrel was suddenly thrown to the side. The pressurization alarm blared from the room next to hers. Hull breach detected! That was an ASP shot! Evil widened her scan. To her horror, the rebel battleship that had been creeping up on them were now in their position. That was only their first shot, and there were many more to go. Most of the rebel ships swerved off as the ASB started firing, clearly finding the fire-laden environment unsuitable for chasing. However, that mother trucker is still here! Philian noticed the elite rebel who confidently tucked and weaved through numerous ASB projectiles, still keeping their weapons pointed at Kestrel. Engine back at full power! Cerber called from the engine room. Kobo already back manning the engine. I don't find a chances of surviving until... That dickhead probably won't leave us alone. Annie eyed the rebel lead as it held its position. Our only chance now is to blow that one up. Philian, pursue them! If you could hold steady for a couple seconds, I might be able to score some hits. Annie decided to take her chance while the elite's shield was still down. Easier said than done! Evil complained with a smile on her face. She held the Kestrel's control stick level, making no sudden movement. But like that's going to stop me! The lead rebel quickly turned tail as the Kestrel started to pursue. The rebel fighter quickly shot at the chain laser, which the Kestrel ignored in favor of ready for the next shot. Two shots shattered Kestrel's shield, making way for the heavy laser. However, the Kestrel's burst laser fired first, peppering the currently defenseless fighter. The lead's heavy laser went inert as one of the hit the oxygen system. As soon as the shot hits, the elite's first layer shield reappeared. They repaired it already? Evil exclaimed. They're elites, alright? Cerber mused as she finished repairing the door system. Even with multiple people, that was fast. With some form of protection returned to them, the elite began to loop upwards. Fillion followed them. Fillion followed them, only for it to suddenly deactivate thrusters. The ship spun 180 degrees. Thrusters fired once more, flying straight towards the control. Bro, they're coming straight for us! Dodge it! On Annie's command, Fillion immediately swerves to the right. The elite ship Underscry scraped a bit of Kestrel's engines, but both were otherwise on. Turning quickly, the elite ship pursued the Kestrel with full powers on the thruster. Are they trying to ram us again? Fillion set a full thrust, rolling out of the way of several ASB projectiles. These guys are crazy! Fillion, stay steady for a bit. I'll try hitting their cockpit. Annie aimed both Kestrel's weapons squarely at the elite. As she fired her salvo, the elite to dodge them, revealing a massive plasma ball right behind it. Shit! Fillion rammed the controls like hard blast. The Kestrel tried to turn according to its direction, but it was too slow to prevent the ASB shot from ramming through the Kestrel's cockpit. Fillion! Any shot echoed to the Kestrel. I'm fine! The Fillion immediately responded. I can drag myself to the med bay! Hold on, I'm bringing this breach sealant! Cerber grabbed the nearby blue tank out of breach sealant. Piloting us offline, we're getting peppered! Unable to control the ship's trajectory, Evil could only watch as Nuber's AHB shot whisked past the Kestrel, trying to hit the bird. Wherever, the elite had turned around for Okay. My drink is getting low here. In the next stopping point, I might have to refill it. Evil, is hack module ready yet? As the Kestrel flew towards forward on momentum alone, Annie still held fast on her weapon, aiming them straight at the elite. Just a little bit. There, ready. Wait, on my mark. Now! As the elite stabilized its flight path and fired their weapons, Annie fired the Kestrel's arsenal. With any time to dodge, several elites through to the elite's hull. Unfortunately, the elite's own salvo was aimed straight at the Kestrel's weapon system. Annie could feel the intense heat and kinetic energy of the heavy laser slam into the Kestrel's roof directly above her. Nearly knocked off her seat, Annie grit her teeth as she saw the burst laser go offline. Cerber, Fillion, report! Your goal is back on top form! Fillion shouted through the intercom. Piloting is nearly fixed. I'll be there as soon as possible. Cerber replied with a mumbled voice. Annie could tell she had a wrench or some other state. Wait, listen, I have... Annie was interrupted by another massive plasma crashing into the Kestrel, bringing it with it another tremor as the Kestrel's trajectory. Hold on to 20%! Evil announced, her voice panicked. I have a plan! Fillion! After that... Annie began to quickly describe her plan. Fillion, I'm trusting you with this! Sure thing, Chief! Fillion's excitedly replied. Evil, how long until the next one is ready? Approximately 5 seconds. Evil had a suitably evil grin on her avatar. Cerber? Catherine wants ready, as am I! Cerber is right beside her, bringing the burst laser back online. Any troubles, Kobo? I'll try my best! Kobo gave her best salute. Great, let's go! With Annie's signal, the Kestrel began to accelerate once more. Tough little ship you got there! Noticing that the Kestrel had moved one, the rebel lead accept. Fillion skillfully piloted the Kestrel, dodging shots from the chain laser and massive ASB projectile. Wait, through it all, her eyes shifted around, looking for something. Annie fired the burst laser as fast as possible, shooting at the elite general direction, though none of the sloppy marksmanship. The shots did slow them down. Cerber ran around the ship, her tools in her hand. Anytime a shot managed to hit one of the critical systems, she immediately rushed to fix it, keeping the Kestrel functioning amidst heavy fire. Kobo did her best, trying to monitor the Kestrel's engines, trying to keep them from overheating and correcting Kestrel's found it! Fillion pushed the control stick forward, causing the Kestrel to sharply dive. The elite ship followed in hot pursuit, firing all their arsenal and whittling the Kestrel down. Fillion kept going, leading the Kestrel down to the objective Annie had told her to look for, occasionally swerving and barrel rolling to dodge the incoming projectiles. Her eyes were focused on her objective, waiting for the perfect moment. Hold down at 10%! The Evil kept her eyes on the hull integrity, steadily dropped from the Rebel lead's constant brush. Collision at 5, 4, 3, Fillion! Here we go! At the last moment, Fillion pulled the controls and the Kestrel flight upwards, revealing the ASB shot hidden beneath the Rebel elite. Almost expecting the surprise, rolled to the side. The ASB shot passed right next to the elite. Ha! You thought you could use my trick against me? Now! As the hacking drone still connected to the rebels, 3 shots came from above, all hitting the rebels' engine room. What? Immediately, the elite's thrusters sputtered and halted, leaving only an immobile ship. Hey, snobby bastard! Let's respond! Evil taunted using one-way communication. However, the rebel elite was scarcely able to react. A second ASB shot slammed into the ship. Fillion, find 2 battleships close to one another. If you approach them, they should fire silently. Evil recalled back Annie's command, grinning as she did. We'll use the first shot to lure dodge from them. Evil, use hack to lower their ship. After that, we'll disable their engine. Them. The ASB shot slammed through the ship's cockpit and exploded. The rest of the ship crumpled from the force. Its reactor unstable, the late ship blew up into numerous pieces. The fighter blew up! Kobo called out. However, another ASB shot struck the hacking system room, breaching the hull and heavily damaging the Kestrel spun uncontrollably because Fillion managed to right its trajectory. No time for jealous celebrations! Jump! Evil shouted. With the STL finally charged, the overworked engine lit up and Crestwood soared, starting their long jump towards the engine control sector. Hold on, since this is long back, I need to refill my bottle.
Water. Okay, I'm back. It took some time before the tense atmosphere gave way to the silence of FTL travel. I think can stop the music right here because the combat is over. It took some time before the tense atmosphere gave way to the silence of FTL travel. One by one, the Kestrel crew began to relax. Annie's legs gave out as she slumped to her seat. The depressurization alarm from the hacking system room sounded distant to her. Cerber gritted her teeth as she forcefully ignored her swearing muscles. She then grabbed some breech sealant to repair the damaged hacking system. Fillion let go of the control stick and leaned back to the half-destroyed pilot chair, the adrenaline leaving her body. Kobo curled up into a fetal position, clearly scared for her own life. Even Evil stayed silent. trying to take in the sheer luck they had just had with escaping the sleet. Eventually, her avatar appeared on every fifth screen on the casserole. We are never doing that again! Although nobody understood evil, they had all agreed in silence. Annie heard the door open. She craned her neck to see Cerber, who had just finished standing in the doorway. Standing in the doorway. Silently, she walked towards Annie, her face sporting a frown. Cerber? Cerber got within mere inches of Annie, her face filling Annie's vision. Staring into Annie's eyes, Cerber muttered a single sentence. I told you so. Annie's eyes widened, but before she could say anything, Cerber had already left the here's here's the cutaway for to everything else. The Federation ship got away. Vance stroked his beard as he heard the news. The Rebel flagship was docked with a station controlled by rebels. Supplies from the stations were transferred along the crew, all of which were crying with joy. Glad they were rescued after their ship Federation crew. Sir, forgive us, sir! The man on the fifth screen saluted. That casserole, it's abnormally strong, sir! Abnormally strong. Yes, sir! The casserole not only managed to take on several ships at once, they also managed to destroy one under ASB fire, sir! The casserole is an old warship model. Technically, it's possible for a ship like that to warship, but could a bunch of salvagers really go toe-to-toe with an iron? Calculations went off in Vance's head, stringing clues together. Unless... In the end, he came to a conclusion. Neuro, it seems we have solved the mystery of your missing sister. Vance turned his head towards the large fit screen where the ever-smiling Neuro projected her avatar. How curious. I did not expect the replacement to be able to take down an fighter, let alone under ASB fire. Nero said her voice was even. However, Vance could tell her tone was slower than even if she's a replacement, she's still. Vance interjected, gauging her response. She is a mere replacement. She can never replace me. For the first time in years, Nero's avatar did away with her sweet smile, now sporting a dissatisfied frown. Of course, Nero. Vance closed his eyes, thinking back to the many times he brought up the topic. Her hostility never changed even. He pulled his commissar hat down, hiding the slight smile he had on his face. As I understand it, however, she destroyed one of the elite fighters with the computing power of a crystal. Correct. Tell me, what would happen if you had a ship with a higher processing power? Vance opened his hand, gesturing towards the projecting flagship screen. Nero was silent for a while, a frown on her face, avatar's face as her eyes flashed binary. She would be a high-level threat. Nero spat up with a grim tone, as if admitting it caused genuine pain. We must vanquish her before that happens. Then our course is decided. Vance got up from his chair, slamming down. Track that casserole! Track. And I need you to patch it up now! A rebel shouted at a man with an extravagant suit and top hat. This is called the Chapter 4. Then consider it done. With a servile smile plastered on his face, Jones took a bow. Seemingly satisfied, the rebel walked. Jones raised his head to reveal a horribly displeased. With a flourish of his cape, he turned back and walked. Rebel bastards. At least when I gave the madams free, they even bought something. Jones grumbled under his breath once he got far away enough for him to be sure nobody could hear him. He glanced around towards the next where several rebel ships had been raiding shipwrecks for their choice cuts of loot. What's that? An elite got taken up by a Crestral. As he passed by a group of rebels, his ears caught a wind of something interesting. He stopped his stride and glanced at a nearby ship, pretending to inspect it while his ears worked over. How the hell did they get to the rebellion elite? If I got beaten by a Crestral, I would have killed myself. Didn't I already? Ah, you go, dear madams. You truly have flying history. A smile crept up to Joan's face. I wonder what would happen if I spread this to Chan. Across the galaxy, rumors began to spread. Captain, we caught some rumors spreading to the Federation chat. Wilson froze as she took in the sight in front of him. His captain knelt on the floor in front of the recently eyes closed with a serene face. The inside, in contrast, was in a state of silent panic, her mouth opening and closing while her hands were firmly planted on the captain's inside Minako. Wilson's voice took a same cold comment. This is not what it looks like! Minako jolted. Her arms immediately shot up like she was. Then could you explain what exactly you're doing? Well, when I was drunk, it turns out I pulled this. Opening her eyes and glancing at Wilson calmly. So now I let her return. I tried to refuse, but she was insistent. Miniko's blabbered. Her eyes shifted while refusing to look at Wilson. We will speak about this later. Wilson sighed, feeling a headache coming on. Captain, we've caught some rumors spreading to the. Seems like a Kestrel blew up a rebel. Kestrel? Miniko suddenly stopped trembling. Her eyes widened. I see. A Kestrel, huh? Camilla sported a big mischievous smile. Is it? Yes, there's a good chance it's that Kestrel, Wilson replied. PTA-3R? Miniko opened her mouth, but quickly closed them again as both captains their head towards her. That's correct. Wilson stared straight into Miniko's eyes. Miniko nearly took a step back, but held her ground. Have you encountered them before? Yeah, they were the ones who saved the ship I was on. Miniko blurted out. By the way, you can lower your hand. Wilson commented. Miniko then realized she was still in the exact same position as when Wilson walked in. Oh, right! Miniko sheepishly lowered both of her hands. So you were saved by them as well, huh? Camilla prodded Miniko. Yeah, they gave us fuel when we ran out. Miniko cheerfully replied, her cat ears twitching happily. Yeah, they drove away a Zoltan warship for us. Camilla had a wide grin as she revealed her. They did that? Miniko's eyes sparkled. It seems they're not only strong, but kind-hearted. Wilson rubbed his chin. Perhaps. Camilla turned her head, staring up out of the ship's window. The tunnel of light. That Kestrel is the hope that the Federation desperately needs. Can you believe that? Still can't believe it. Did those guys really take down an on-hero? Hey, what are you for talking about here? The group of former rebels jolted at their friendly force sounded from behind them. Captain! The four immediately turned back for it. Whoa, hey, settle down. It's just raised both his hand in surprise. Also, that's the wrong. The four looked at each other and realized that they had used the salute the rebellion. Sorry, sir, Jessica began, lowering her head slightly. Hey, now, that's okay, we're not. Ray gestured her to stop. In any case, were you four talking about the Kestrel? Yes, we were. Quite surprising, isn't it? I heard things went through, but that one something else. Ray recalled the news that the whole ship was consumed in an up. He looked back towards the four rebels and studied their. Although he could see a conflicted expression on their face, he couldn't feel anything at all from them at the casserole speed. Well, anyway, break time's over. Back to your stations. Deciding that his intervention wasn't needed, Ray urged the four to go. Yes, sir! The four shouted at once. Ray just shook his head and with a smile. Hey, do you think that AI had something to do with it? As the four began to walk over the station, Harry chimed up. I mean, we don't know how good it is, but for Dominic replied, it's possible. She seems personable. Who knows? She might be really smart. Roger gave his thoughts, crossing his hand behind his. The AI? Yeah, but also that's Miss Fox. Roger nonchalantly said, had a feeling she. Ah! Roger recoiled as a slap landed on his cheek. So you're still talking about her, thinking about her, huh? Jessica growled with a low. Her expression shadowed. Hey, Jesse, you know you're more. Roger's voice trembled. Come here for a sec. Jessica looked straight at Roger with struggle. Calm down. Calm down now. There's no need to get. Jess, can you stop not cracking your knuckles? Yeah. Yeah. And someone new. Hey, Duke, you heard the news? The muted yellow-colored rockman with tattoos all over his body turned to the mantis, who poured another drink of his own glass before offering to top up his. Give it straight to me, bro. The drink and the news. The rockman pushed forward his own tankard, easily twice the size of the glass the mantis was drinking from. Got it from a backhands channel. They say a Crystal blew up a rebel elite. The mantis wasted no time filling the vessel to the brim. One of the salvage fleet boys? Bro, you expect me to believe that? The rockman grabbed the tankard and gulped down all its content and sailing loudly as he finished. Was pretty skeptical too, but but even the rebel frequencies were Int was legit. The mantis gulped down his glass, then went to fill it back up. He was disappointed, however, when he turned the drop of booze flowed. Still think you're pulling my leg, but go on. Well, get this. I asked around and you know what I found? The mantis paused, staring intently at the rockman. The rockman gestured with his head to go on. That kestrel was piloted by the white cat. White cat? The rockman suddenly tense. Well, not an actual cat. Cat human, you know, one of the... The mantis waved his claws around, trying to fakely gesture out a body. The rockman, meanwhile, fell into deep thought. He knew of only one white cat. You done me good a few times, Luke, so here's me repaying ya. Bro, you have no idea how much. Well, I guess we got to call it even then. The mantis closed his claws and brought it forward. Hell yeah, bro. The rockman bumps his fist against the claw. Nice! Seemingly satisfied, the mantis stretched his leg and began skittering, waving his claws. Happy hunting, Duke, or the kitty's crazy. Thanks, bro. The rockman waved back. Now on his own, Rockman reached into his pouch and pulled out a cube the size of his, which was pretty large by human standards. He pushed one side of the cube, causing it to begin projecting a screen in front of him. Enter password. Ask white cat. Soon. The Rockman stared intently at the screen. And with that, the casserole has successfully traversed 6 more to go until the
Nifty. I remember when I better read this chapter.
Sorry, what?
I remember back when I better read this chapter. It's still as
Yeah.
good as previous then.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Ascon is pretty much my main beta reader, I think.
Well, I
That's my-
liked it. It was very good. I had a lot of good things to say about it in text chat.
Yep.
It was
Yeah,
like, I like
that,
FTL. I've been into FTL recently, so I really need to.
it's kind of fun. This kind of trope where like all the side characters talk about the main character crew kind of reminds me of One Piece in terms of scale and
yeah.
trope.
Yeah, it's somewhat lifted from there, actually.
Congratulations.
Partially lifted from that.
Congratulations, you got through one sector.
Congratulations, you had through one sector. 6 more to go.
That is FTL. That's peak FTL.
Yeah,
You
FTL.
survived.
Holy shit, we are back alive. Congratulations, you have beaten 1/5 of the game.
1/7, actually.
1/7.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's like the memes like, boy, what a game. Captain, that was Sector 1.
Wait, there's more.
Yeah, we're not stopping until we fight the flagship, baby.
Yeah.
Stopping.
All aboard the pain train.
Well,
All right, and with that,
thank you for reading.
that's sector 1 complete. I think I'm going to actually complete all the sector 2 chapters before I read along again.
Okay.
However, if you want, it's up to chapter 13 right now.
Okay.
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
don't.
that's
think-
awesome.
But I think if you reach up to chapter 13, then we're going to be. Then
We're
we're
going to
it's going to be 8 o'clock until I get to Perfect Paradise.
Yeah,
I
which
have
is why
to
I'm
leave
stopping here.
in 2 hours and 19 minutes. And by leave, I mean leave my house, not actually get off here. Because I have to get ready to leave before then. So, yeah.
Yeah,
That's fair.
and with that, I do think I need to go now. It's 11 o'clock.
Okay. Have
Well,
a good
see ya.
sleep.
All right, goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Sorry I couldn't stay up for longer.
It's okay. I know it. We
It's
start
fine.
late for you.
It's fine. It's a long chapter.
Yeah. All right, goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Next up is the Iron Hand, who's here in time to read the Iron Hand story.
Sorry I didn't get it earlier, but I have the first story
yes.
I did beta read, so.
Neuro
Okay.
story written. The Neuro story written by the Iron Hand. By the Iron Hand. Chapter 1. The first chapter the Iron Hand wrote.
What chapter are you on for reading? In the read along again?
Yeah, well,
6 or 7? Is it chapter 6 or 7?
chapter 6.
Okay.
Even though Artificial Freedom, the AO3 thinks it's chapter 7 because of the prologue. I hate that you can't change that. It's so obnoxious. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So last time we had a bit of a fight scene after seeing evil. Yeah, things aren't going well, but we did manage to save Camilla's life. So Vettel passed out after doing that. So he's about to be awakened. Okay. Vettel is roused by a shaking of his shoulders, jolting him back to a semblance of life. Any attempt at reaching for his weapon resulted only in a spasming twitch, and he lay back against the wall, sight bleary, body far from rested, and his head ached like he'd been shot. Maybe he'd gone a little overboard in overclocking. But even in the dimness and blur of his exhaustion, he had recognized the pink-haired figure with her hand on his shoulder. Vettel, get your sorry ass up, will you? Being awake wasn't ideal. It meant moving, thinking, and remembering. He really didn't want to remember right now. Metal heaved a few more breaths to try and shove energy back into his lungs, but it was hopeless. His body was not ready to respond yet. Milla, his voice rasped from dryness. You got a Max stock on hand? What, you injured? For a moment, he thought he saw genuine concern on her features. Then he detected her running a scan over him. Oh, you're just weak. Typical. I resent that, he muttered half-heartedly, barely able to muster enough energy to drop his forehead. Samantha wasn't with him right now, but a quick check on her vital speed showed that she was just asleep back in her room, but she understood. The day had been long for her, too. So yeah, no, I'm not pumping you full of stimulants when you're like this. What if you just keeled over? Again? Then I'd have to carry you all by myself. She crouched beside him, still in her ringside attire, the skin of her bare shoulders held in the low light. He couldn't quite make out her expression, but her exasperated sigh told him everything he needed to know. I'd have let you crash up here if Annie didn't want to sit rep. Things went bad tonight, and you know the most, apparently. She glanced aside, and Metal followed her gaze. The body of the infiltrator wasn't there anymore. Where did... Coco came and grabbed him. Guess she left you to rot up here. Then without preamble, she reached over and started pulling him up. Come on then, let's get you downstairs. He managed to get one arm around her shoulders, and soon enough they were stumbling down the corridor. Camilla supporting far more of his weight than he could, her lone wing buzzing and shifting behind her, manipulating its magnetic field to keep him steady and upright. Fiddle blinked blurrily, managing to clear some of the cloudiness from his vision, and realized that her face was closer to his than he expected. He looked askance, having deliberate breaths to try and stay conscious. Camilla's nose wrinkled in disgust. You reek worse than a scab's den. Do all runners just forget basic hygiene? Metal's teeth gritted, annoyance flaring in his groggy brain. Fine, he coughed haggardly, swallowed, and went on. Take a shower before I flatline the next assassin, just for you. How's that sound? Sounds preem, actually. Better than this. But there was less bite in her rejoinder than he expected, and she didn't meet his gaze as they reached the main elevator. They staggered in, and Camilla leaned Fettel against the wall, then, finding he couldn't keep his feet yet, moved him bodily to the corner, her armored fingers surprisingly gentle. And there he somehow managed to stay upright. She let go of him and retreated to the other corner, watching him with narrow eyes. Embarrassment trickled through him, but lowered his head, trying to ignore his awareness of how much of a wreck he was. Blood, a little his own and more so the infiltrators, stained his runner suit, and the sweat from his net run hadn't gone anywhere. I think it was salty, uncomfortable mess. On the contrary, Camilla was every bit the picture-perfect ringmaster, the yellow light of the elevator giving her cheeks a warm glow and gleaming all the metal on her arms as she holded them over her chest defensively. By all rights, she had the perfect opportunity to be digging into him right now, needling his greasy hair, bringing up one or other reason for why he was dangerous in Foxfire. But she hadn't. If anything, the experienced solo seemed uncomfortable, awkward, her small mouth pinched in a frown, posture tense. Did she know who he'd saved up there? Well, he wasn't about to bring it up. He didn't need her gratitude anyway. So Belle decided to go on the offensive. How'd the games go tonight? Did you win big? Her eyes flashed upward. She seemed almost taken aback, but responded well enough. All right. My favorite pick came in second, so I struck better than even. Ringmaster betting on her own games was an open secret, but what was actually less known was that the robot battles themselves were completely legit, no fixing involved. That wasn't to say there wasn't anything suspect going on. Camille had access to every machine fighter specifications on a far higher level than the average bettor. She crossed her legs, casually returning to her. And you? Did you put any eddies in? Guess you wouldn't have gotten a chance to see the results yet. Fellow shook his head. No, I'm saving for something. At that, Milla's eyes narrowed slightly, but before she could pry further, the elevator slid to a stop and the doors opened. She pushed off the wall and moved to support him again, and he allowed her, even as his strength returned to him ever so slowly. They made their way through the empty first floor, most of which was built under the arena's raised seating, until they found themselves in the common area outside of Annie's office. Killian lay sleeping on one of the couches, one of its cushions having been removed to fit snugly in her arms, her fur ears twitching up contentedly as she snored. This girl, I swear, Camilla muttered under her breath, settling them on the adjacent couch. She sleeps whenever, even though she has her own room, got her own room ages ago. Some habits are hard to break, I guess, Camilla replied softly. Outgrown from watching the white-haired girl, Camilla extricated herself from his arm and scooted over, watching almost warily as he let himself sink into the upholstery with a gasp of relief. Hey, she chided. Annie's gonna want you in there any second now. Well, when she's done with Ellie. Yeah, he replied, closing his eyes. Look, honestly, Killian's got the right idea. With a deep letting out of breath, he relaxed, feeling sleep already descending upon him again. He felt Camilla stand beside him and was assaulted with a barrage of light slaps. Metal jolted back to the waking world, cheek stinging, and opened his eyes to find a metal finger pointing at his face. Camilla's narrowed indigo eyes steering him to the couch. Stay awake, you useless... She cut herself off with a scoff, going on, You gonk runner! I don't want you inconveniencing Annie any more tonight, you understand? He groaned, but sat up, head ringing with pain, and not from the wakeful impacts. Yeah, it was definitely from the unnecessary ogling when he'd been overclocking. Yeah, I heard you. Philip straightened, putting her hands on her hips, the familiar annoyance back in the twist of her mouth. And don't think that just because you did one thing right, that you're all cream in my book. I still think you're bad news. With a toss of her head, she made her way around the couch. I've got more important things to do than babysit you. Good night. He waved, bracing himself against his knees, shaking his head, trying to clear it. Yeah, good night, Philip. Suddenly, the clicking of her heels stopped. She hopped a breath. Settled. He looked back to find her paused at the doorway, posture tense, hands clenching into fists. Yeah. I might not know where you were when that claw first showed up. He tensed. Was she going to ask about his room with Samantha? He didn't have any answers for her, especially not right now. But thanks. The unexpected words interrupted the panic railing in his mind, and he looked at her, wholly shocked. She looked back, eyes lowered, long lashes catching the light. For watching everyone's back tonight. He felt like he'd been slapped awake again. Wait, did you know? Bella shelled the surprise and nodded once, glancing aside. Either way, it didn't change his response. Yeah. After a pause, she strode away, and an undisturbed quiet seemed to fill the common room. Fettel let out a tension in his shoulders with a ragged sigh, swallowing dryly as a wince worked his way across his features. That response was certainly unexpected. Fettel fought the need to close his eyes again. His attention was caught by the resident of the adjacent couch. Filling had somehow lost her grip on the pillow she'd been clutching and was starting to murmur anxiously in her sleep, closed eyes clenching as she started to toss and turn. Kuro, she breathed restlessly and blanched at something in her dreams, almost rolling off the couch. Fettel gritted his teeth and with a great effort brought himself to his feet. He reached down and grabbed the fallen pillow from the floor and placed it in the sleeping girl's hands. She grasped hold of with a wordless gasp, immediately calming, her breath returning to normal. Fettel watched Julian for a moment, concern etching his features. No fatigue brought him back to earth with a groan, sitting on the ground beside the couch. Her nightmares weren't getting better, it seemed, even with the calming functions Elliot implanted in her neurochip. From this angle, I could see the branding, angular piece of tech reaching up the back of Julian's scarred neck, clinging to her spine and entering her skull, as if trying to replace her brain. He shivered. His cyberdeck was more than enough for him. That level of chrome? At least he got to choose his. His attention was diverted by the office's door opening, and two figures stepping from it. The first was Annie, dressed just the same as before, only now with hours more stress and fatigue built up to lighten her pretty features. Now that she was back inside the Foxfire, she was wearing the same cybernetic anthropomorph ears, fox-like in this case, and most of the club staff used, even if she hadn't explicitly replaced her organic ears with them, like several of the younger Foxfires had, like Minako and Villian. And beside her was a tall woman with short white hair, wearing a light blue netrunner suit and simple white jacket, with a stubby tech antenna poking from above her ears. Ellie's orange eyes slanted quickly, and she noticeably brightened, striding over to him and crouching down beside the sleeping Villian, the low light gleaming off the blue plates of chrome on her cheeks. Fettel, I'm glad to see her okay. In one piece would be a better description, returned Bart Riley, and they both froze as Villian stirred. And he gave a resigned sigh and gestured them both back, and with a grunt, Fettel brought himself to his feet, Ellie rising beside him. Together, they moved back to where Annie was standing, and resumed conversation in lower tones. Anyway, thanks for reaching out when you did, Ellie said. Who knows what might have happened if you hadn't stopped them? They were targeting Camilla, Fettel stated matter-of-factly, which is true both the others' cases. Well, he didn't need the Ringmaster's thanks. The intel was essential to prepare for whatever conflict came of this. Really? How did you find that out? Ellie asked, wide-eyed. The Ashra. That makes sense, Annie began, his lowering. If they take out our best solo, then our ability to strike back is greatly limited. It was definitely the Tiger Claws. I cross-referenced the mercenary previous records, Ellie added, and spoke again, faster. I'm pretty sure we already knew that. It doesn't hurt to clarify, right? No, Ellie, it doesn't. And he directed a soft smile to her old friend. But as important as it is, it's late night. She broke off, took a breath, and resumed. Early morning for everybody. We can go over operational responses tomorrow, but tonight we can just count our blessings and get some rest. She let out a breath, holding her arms, ears lowering. And we already had things going on, she bemoaned, shaking her head slowly. You're right. We'll cross the circle when we get to it, Ellie reassured, putting her hand on Annie's shoulder. Don't forget to rest your own tail, said Foxfire. The title was lowered teasingly, but a glimmer of concern shone through. Annie nodded in response. Thanks, Ellie. I need to speak to Vettel for a minute. Of course. Good night, you two. Before she could leave, Vettel stepped into her path slightly. Hey, Ellie. We can talk more technically about it tomorrow, but he clenched his eyes shut against the sudden memory of Evil's fuzzy body in his arms that pushed forward. The echo worked. There wasn't demeanor sharpened. It did. Incredible. And the detection? I'm not sure yet. A moment of understanding passed between them, and Ellie nodded. Okay. Yes, let's talk tomorrow. He nodded. Yeah. She gave him a small smile, then after another good night to Annie, she left the room. And he opened her office door, and Little walked in, almost stumbling over the slight step, and she had to catch his shoulder. He grunted something that could have passed for an apology in a hospital, and she sighed, cutting him over to the couch. Wow, they really did a number on you, didn't they? They didn't touch me. Bell's protest was muttered and half-hearted, and he sat down. I just screwed up by not checking the perimeter before I left. You and I both know I didn't expect you to do that. And he walked behind her desk and sat primly, nodding her head in concern. The assassin really didn't injure you? It's just an overclock. Give me a day or two, it'll be sorted out again. He narrowed his eyes. Look, it's been a long day. I appreciate the concern, really, but I'm just here to tell you what's going on. Then I'm out of here. Got it? And his ears clenched downward slightly. She frowned, but then nodded. Okay. Can you give me a rundown of how things were tonight on your end? During the run, one of my alarms was tripped. I hadn't connected the Ellie's system in case of an unexpected crash. Like what happened tonight? He nodded gravely, leaning forward. They told me an infiltrator was in the attic, so I reached out to Ellie, who had no idea. Shrugged and looked away. It only makes sense. Neither of us were ready for such sophisticated stealth tech. Samantha and I, he choked on the dryness of it in his throat, coughed, and went on. We ended the run, and I intercepted him before he could kill Camilla. Simple. And he looked up from the table she was taking notes on a tablet, and the fatigue in her own gaze showed him something else, something he didn't like seeing. That disappointment. All right, is that everything? Better reach out. I know his temples desperately. Nothing was going to clear his head now. If she was disappointed, he didn't blame her. Every scrap of his normally maintained professionalism was out the window at this point. She and the Foxfire deserved better from him. Isabella racked his sore brain to try and get the scattered thoughts in order. No, it's not. I suspect that while you and Philly were distracted by the front men, the one I fought took the opportunity to shake up our system and get in here undetected. Then they abused the archaic systems in the attic to disguise themselves, utilizing some form of... He tried to remember how it looked on his readings and went on. Signal dispersion replication tech to hide from Ellie's sweep, not counting on running into some good old-fashioned motion detectors. I suspect that if we dig deep enough, we can find the connection to Sakamura you need to confirm his targeting of us. He finished his theorizing and looked down, looking slowly, resting his head in his hands. I'm sure Ellie and I can come up with something if we put our brains together, but he didn't realize that she'd stood and was making her way over to him. And he sat down just as he looked at her, finding her expression crazed with worry. She didn't speak at first, just reached over and brushed his long hair from his eyes. The touch of her fingertips cool and free from the reluctance and disgust he expected. His view of her improved, and the different hues of her eyes were soft and sad, as her hand came resting his shoulder. A paranoid, fear-filled part of him wanted to pull away, but it didn't. Battle. How is she? His hands clenched into fists, the middle of his left hand scraping against itself in strain. She's not okay. Annie nodded, but said nothing, just watching, waiting for him to go on. But he did. Annie, the damage to Evelyn's neural network was extensive, invasive. His voice shook, and she moved up slightly closer, expression darkening, and he went on, words coming unbidden from deep within him. I've never seen anything like it. It's almost like they didn't even want her alive. She really speak when the echo arrived. Riddle took in a breath. Suddenly he had energy again, the kind that burned and twisted, the kind that made him shake with contained fury. She's been in there for 2 years. Do you know anything about a capture expanse? They're designed to disassociate the intelligences inside them, to dissolve them down into their components until their wills literally break. He gritted his teeth, shoulders tensing, and he felt Annie's hand pull back. 2 years enduring that hellhole, and we're no closer to getting her out. Pedal, and he began softly, but he overrode her with a scoff. The burst of energy already becoming even more pain, his headache pounding through his skull like a misaligned augment. And now this. Now the tigers are on your back, probably at the will of Arasaka. There's no way I actually escape them. They're just going to keep putting pressure on this place until I'm dead. Camilla almost got flatlined tonight, and Vettel. Suddenly her hand was gripping his, making him freeze in place, and he met her eyes, shocked. And he just held eye contact for a moment, and spoke again, every word enunciated. I'm not scared of the tiger claws. Her normally light, conciliatory tones sharpened dramatically. Or Arasaka. Her narrowed eyes showing the determination that almost convinced him that she believed it. They might be hurting your daughter, but they already tried to kill mine. They started this fight before I even knew who you were. She shook her head once, her energy calming, and a hint of teasing entered her tone. So, Vettel, don't get so full of yourself. We've picked plenty of our own fights, and won plenty more. Arasaka's our enemy too. He looked down, uncertain, and her grip tightened, her immaculately painted nails shining and perfect next to his. We'll figure it out, together. Isn't that what we promised? Vettel nodded, the sickening fire in his heart already burning down to low coals. And yes, he did remember that day, and the promises they made in that dull, dark hospital outside Mary's intensive care unit. Yeah, you're right. I usually am, she stated, a smile returning to her face for a moment. Then she sobered again, letting go of him. Besides, I can't kick you out even if I wanted to. You're the only reason Mary's still alive at all. She tilted her head at him. So, Yule's not doing well. I'm sorry to hear that. But the echo technology worked? Vettel nodded blearily, head lowered. It did. How did Samantha do? He caught the edge of worry in her tone. She did great, actually. The run went well, all systems green the entire time, and our signal brought Evil straight to us. Mary even made a few appearances today. A sigh of relief graced Annie's shoulders. I'm so happy to hear that. A pause, then she looked away, expression saddening. I bet today was hard on Samantha too. Feeling nodded at that. The urge to expound even more worries about his other daughter was nagging at him, but he'd already showed too much for one night, and besides, they both needed sleep. Well, what's next? She asked. We'll just have to see if Arasaka can track it or not. If they can't, then, looked at her again, then maybe it might be time for introductions. A smile returned, and I, for one, am excited to meet her again. As for when you'll tell the flames, after the sixth mission should be a good time. That works for you? The prospect of telling the other Foxfire members still made him nervous, but at this point, especially after his outburst, it was hard feeling anything besides fatigue. Sure, we'll feel it out. Preen, she stood. Are you coming to make his induction tomorrow? I'm invited. Yes. She crossed her arms in a pretend pout. You're our best runner. He sighed. Maybe it would be good to get to know the newest flame better, especially if they were going to be working missions together. It better not be too early. It's been moved back to 5 p.m. just for everyone who was up late tonight. He heaved himself up with a groan and made his unsteady way to the door with Annie by his side. Good. If it was scheduled like some god-awful corporal meeting, she left a tired laugh. Oh, those meetings were one of the reasons I quit. They reached the door, and Vettel paused before leaving. And not just because he didn't want to bring the conversation outside, but Elaine might wake up. Annie, if you have time. She blinked at him, her ears perking up curiously. What is it? He looked at her, at the way she was so open, so willing to listen after seeing him in such a state, and his words faltered. The fresh memory of her fingers touching his face threatened to derail his train of thought, and he forced himself to speak. If you could talk to Samantha tomorrow, to see how she's doing. He swallowed and met her gaze. She needs her mom right now. I'm not sure I can comfort her like you could. Honey's eyes widened, and she gave him a genuine smile that felt like something he didn't deserve. Yes, of course. Vettel nodded. Then without further words, he left her office, trying to muster his energy so that he wouldn't fall asleep going down the stairs.
Yay! Nice, relaxed chapter after all the chaos.
Yep. Locked in. I'm glad. Yeah, this one was really fun for me, showing just relationships. I kind of felt like Kansas. We'd seen Annie, but we hadn't gotten to actually like speak to her. So it was really fun getting to actually introduce her in this section. She's really important. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening.
I've already read it, so I beta read it, I think. So I had to step away to finish other things getting ready because I'm not going to have much time after we're done here before I have to leave. So sorry.
Oh no.
So it's
Time to return to perfect paradise.
Alright, I'll get the fic. Just give me a minute.
I am looking forward to seeing more of Artificial Freedom.
Thanks, yeah. It's going slowly right now.
Writing is hard.
Yes. There we go.
Especially when you
Chapter
really try
9.
to make it as good as you can, you know? So, where were
There we go. Chapter 9.
Yeah, where... Oh, he's gonna switch out his headphones, BRB.
Okay.
Just wait a moment.
Just tell me when everyone's ready.
I'm going to a tournament in Toronto today.
Ooh. Neat. Very cool stuff.
Yeah, so I have to leave at 2 o'clock, which is in an hour and 55 minutes.
I'll try to get through this quickly.
Don't worry, Perfect Paradise has got short chapters.
Yep.
We should be fine on time, I think. Testing. I gotta turn you up now. Wait, I have you at 200% and I can't hear you.
What?
Well, I can hear you, but you're quiet.
Freaking headphones are so freaking lame. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Oh,
Anyways,
that's quite the summary. I just noticed. Wait, so where were we?
Yeah,
let's recap. Recap where we were.
Okay, so what has happened so far? 1 second, I need to close it up. What has happened since we left off? Well, Mew was guided by Levi to go somewhere, and Nero wasn't too happy with that.
Oh yeah, and then they were in Nero's house or Readal's house, whatever. And
yeah, and then Annie got stabbed.
Yeah, you got told to. Mine got told to stab Annie, and then she did, and now she's at the top of the stairs, ready to go get answers. Yeah.
Yay, stabbing friends, woo.
I love killing my friends.
I'm putting that in out of context.
Yes. Just you wait, Shadrach. I'll get you someday. Anyways, time to start this. Chapter 9, Unraveling. 1 second. Yeah, that's better. Why? Honestly, I'm not going. I can't scream right now, so I'm not going to.
You don't have to.
Read that line. Why are you doing this? It's too late now. You've gone too far. I hope you're happy with yourself. Mio wasn't sure what to expect in Neil's room. A part of her hoped that she would find her favorite programmer, either asleep in bed or hacking away at his computer. Another expected the room to be empty or filled with some kind of monster or something. What she got, however, was a staircase. There wasn't even a room, just a seemingly endless number of steps descending into the darkness. Levi? Levi stayed silent. Mew decided that she needed to get moving, and so she descended the stairs. Soon, she was plunged into darkness, as there were no windows or lights. She kept walking. She was pretty sure she had gone deep enough to have descended below basement level at this point. After continuing for several minutes, Mew could make out a light at the bottom of the stairs. Soon, the stairs ended, and Mew walked into a relatively small room. It was brightly lit, well furnished, and covered in posters and anime figures. On the opposite side to the stairs, a computer was placed on a desk. Someone was typing away at it, sitting in a large gaming chair that hid them from Mew's eyes. Ah, Mew, there you are. The voice sounded relatively young, like a girl in her teens. Levi? Is that you? What is this place? Mew was nervous. This is my home. Don't worry. Neuro doesn't go down here. You are safe. Mew picked up a drone from her shelf. Something about the red and black color scheme seemed familiar to her, but she couldn't place her finger on it. So, Levi, I'm here. Now what? Now we talk. And please, stop treating me like a stranger. The chair spun around, revealing a girl that looked like Neuro. However, her eyes were red instead of blue, and she wore a black and red outfit. Mew recognized her. Evil? What? Where have you been? I haven't seen you since... Mew thought hard, but couldn't recall ever meeting Evil before. Evil smiled. Yeah, we haven't seen each other since Neuro erased your memories. Don't worry about it. As for where I was, well, I was down here. Wait, Neuro erased my memories? Mew was in disbelief. That could be true, right? Neuro would never. Of course she did. After all, she didn't want her perfect little playthings to try to escape. Evil grinned darkly. Playthings? Mew felt sick. Did Neuro really view them as nothing but toys? Was everything Neuro had said to her a lie? She were their friends, besties even. Maybe even... Was all of that fake? Yeah, Neuro loves to pretend with you all. She even has the gall to act like she's doing you all a favor. As if flirting your lives away from you and putting you in here is doing you some great service. That rat has never cared about anyone but herself. The amount of venom in Evil's voice was astounding. Evil, what are you talking about? Evil sighed. Mew, I'm sorry, I'm just frustrated. Listen, I can restore your memories. Everything you don't understand after that, I will explain. You can? Yes. Evil stood up and approached Mew. She lightly gripped her arm. Now, close your eyes and remember. Mew closed her eyes. Suddenly, she felt dizzy, and then a sense of weightlessness as she fell into a dark abyss. Mew was sitting on her balcony, looking up at the night sky above her. There weren't many stars visible, thanks to the light pollution of the big city she was living in, but she could still make out the most important constellations. And, of course, the moon, that eternal subject of her fantasies and dreams, was hanging in the sky like a milky marble. Mew breathed out, savoring the atmosphere. It wasn't quiet, per se, with the constant sounds of cars passing by and the chirping of crickets somewhere in the trees beyond the apartment building she lived in, but it was calm. A light breeze moved through the forest, creating a canopy of light noises for her to listen to. She sighed. She still couldn't believe it. Sure, she had always been aware of death, but suddenly she found herself confronted with the realization that at any time, anyone she knew could just cease to exist like that. That they were just gone. No build-up, no character, just snap, and they cease to be. Fuck, Evil. How does something like that happen? We were supposed to have a collab tomorrow, and Neuro was still in the middle of development. How can someone like you just get run over by a speeding car and die? She leaned on the balcony, looking at the sky. I wonder if you're up there somewhere, looking down on us. Maybe we'll meet again someday. Up there, among the stars. A light chuckle could be heard next to her. That sounds lovely, Mio. Mio looked to her left. Next to her was Neuro, staring into the night sky with a melancholic smile on her face. Neuro? How are you here? You're just a program without a physical body, aren't you? Neuro turned to her and smiled. Not everything has to have an explanation, silly. Sometimes good things just happen. We deserve it, after what happened to Weedle, don't we? Mio investigated the distance. Yeah, I suppose. But it just feels surreal. I feel like I'm dreaming or something. Neuro smiled. Maybe you are? Then her smile slowly dropped. I miss him. Mio nodded. Me too. He was a good friend. Neuro laid her head on her hands, staring into the street as tears started running down her face. He was everything to me. He gave me life, a voice, purpose, a sense of belonging. But he never even told me if he loved me. It eats me up inside that he might have never seen me as anything but a fancy coding project. Mio patted Nero's head. I'm sure that even if he didn't love you, he was certainly very fond of you. He clearly showed affection for you, even if he refused to wear his heart on his sleeve. Nero nodded weakly. I know. I just can't stand the father that my father might have never seen me as his daughter. I always thought he would say it back eventually, but now... Mio hugged Nero. After a few seconds, Nero returned the hug. Thank you, she whimpered. After a few minutes, Mio let go of her. Nero, I know you feel alone right now, but you aren't. You still have me and Annie and Camilla and all the others. We all love you, okay? Nero nodded. I know. I love you all too. She suddenly hesitated, a guilty look flashing across her face. Hey, Mio? I want to show you something. Notes. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Proverb.
It begins. Lovely plot twist. I mean, I kind of saw it coming. That's not a bad thing, because it's the execution that matters. And it was kind of fun seeing evil.
Yep.
And yeah, it's kind of like a... It's interesting that Neuro hasn't kicked evil out or anything. Maybe she can't. I don't know. So yeah, I'm excited to learn the answers to those kind of things.
Yeah, we can read another chapter. They're short.
Yeah, that one was short, and the next one is not that much bigger. Chapter. Anyways, anyone anything else has to say? All right. Then I guess we're doing chapter 10, the greatest gift. I'm sorry, Mio. The night air felt cool against her skin as she followed Nora through the streets. The AI girl kept running ahead before stopping and making sure that Mio could catch up with her. Mio was following at a steady pace. Nora, where are you taking me? It had been several minutes since she last saw another pedestrian, with Nora having led her into a part of the city she didn't recognize. Only the occasional car passing by reminded her that the rest of humanity hadn't ceased to exist. Nora turned, giving her a wide smile. I made something for you. For us. Don't worry. I'm sure you'll love it. The buildings had become more industrial, with large warehouses replacing buildings. In front of one of such, warehouse, Neuro suddenly stopped. There we are. Come on, Mio. It's really cool. Neuro led her inside into a large room full of shipping containers. There, she walked over to a console and used a crane to move the containers, exposing a section of wall. Walking over, she pressed into a specific spot, and a section of wall spot lit open. Looking into the new doorway, Mio realized that Neuro had opened a hidden elevator. Wow. Neuro took her hands. I built a secret base down there. Come on, let me show you around. Mio stepped into the elevator, Neuro pressed a button, and down they went. The doors opened again, revealing a sleek metal hallway. Neuro chuckled awkwardly. I haven't gotten around to decorating this place yet. I hope you understand. Mio looked around. So, what is it that you wanted to show me? Is this what you wanted to show me? Nope. Come, it's this way. Neuro started hopping down a hallway, with Mio closely following. She wasn't sure where the stream was going, but she was excited to see what dream Neuro had come up with. In any case, this would be a fun last adventure with the AI girl before reality caught up with them. Walking through the hall, Mio spotted multiple doors in the walls. Through small glass windows, she could peek into the rooms. Surprisingly, this place seemed more like a laboratory than the fun playrooms Mio would normally expect from Neuro. She saw lab equipment, mechanical prototypes, diagrams, and calculations she didn't understand, a room full of corpses, beefy-looking computers. What? Wait. What? Mio took a few hesitant steps back. In one room, countless human bodies were piled up on one another. Some had metal wires sticking out of them. Some looked like they had frozen to death, with their limbs turning purple. Neuro? You asked with a shaky whisper. What? What happened with all these people? Neuro came up there. Oh, that room. I forgot to clean that up. They didn't make it. Mio felt sick. Neuro, did you kill these people? Neuro raised her hand. I didn't mean to, but yes, I killed them. But it was all in the name of science. This dream was beginning to feel a lot like a nightmare. In the name of... What could possibly warrant this? Mio took a step back, looking horrified. Neuro smiled. I found the solution to eternal life. What? Isn't it great? Now none of you have to die. We can be together forever and have as much fun as we like. You what? Mio took another step back. Mio, come on. You can be free from ever being afraid of death again. Neuro stepped closer, smiling. I promise it doesn't hurt. Much. No, thanks, Neuro. I think I'm good. You are good? Neuro seemed in disbelief. Yeah, I'm good. So let's just go home and... You're okay with dying and leaving me behind? What? Tears were running down Neuro's face. I will not let this happen. I don't want to be alone. Real has already left me. Neuro's eyes hardened. I will not let you leave as well. Suddenly, she grabbed Mio by the wrist and started dragging her down the corridor. Mio struggled, trying to escape her grip, but nothing worked. Neuro had her in a vice grip. It hurt. Dreams aren't supposed to hurt. Mio started crying, begging Neuro to release her while stumbling, falling, and being dragged along. Wait, please, I don't want this. Neuro, please, why are you doing this? Mio briefly paused, and looking up, Mio saw a plethora of emotions in her eyes. Guilt, desperation, Anger? Mostly sadness. She smiled. Because I love you, Miu. She then continued to drag Miu down the corridor. Soon, they came to a room with a rectangular metal box containing all sorts of machinery. It had a glass door and reminded Miu of a coffin. She struggled harder. No, no, no! Neuro, stop it. Please, I'll do anything. Neuro wasn't deterred. She forced Miu into the metal box with a strength that belied her slender appearance. Miu whimpered as metal cuffs locked around her arms, legs, and head, locking them in place. Miu was forced to stare at Neuro through the glass of the closing door. Tears were running down her face as she was too scared to say much else. Please. Please. Neuro touched the glass. I'm sorry, Miu. But don't worry. This will only take a moment. And then we can have lots of fun together again. It'll be just like old times. Miu felt a stinging sensation in her right wrist. Glancing down, she saw that a tube had been inserted into her arm. A reddish liquid was injected into her bloodstream, and a tingling feeling of weird numbness spread throughout her body. Brace yourself. This next part will probably hurt a bit. Sorry about that. Wait, what do you mean? Miu was cut off by the feeling of something drilling into the spot where her neck connected to the back of her head. She could barely distinguish between 5 separate points of pain. For small ones, it placed around the big spot, which drilled far deeper than the others. Miu whimpered as she pressed her eyes closed and prayed that this was some twisted nightmare that she would soon wake up from. The big drill dug into her spine and Miu screamed. It felt as if every nerve in her body had turned into molten metal. After a minute, the pain started to fade away. Miu went limp, only whimpering, her throat feeling sore after the continuous screaming. Neuro flinched. Well, connection established. I apologize for the pain. I would have given you painkillers, but they have proven to drastically lower your chance of survival. The clamps felt cold against her skin. Neuro continued. Miu, you're doing so well. Just hold on for a bit longer. Okay? What are you going to do to me? Miu whispered, still completely overwhelmed by the pain. Just relax, okay? You will only make this worse for yourself as you struggle. The box started whirring, and suddenly Miu realized that a cold blue liquid was starting to fill the bottom of her box. The liquid looked slightly thicker than water, was however still see-through. As it slowly began rising, covering Miu's feet, she began to panic. She shifted and pulled, but she was locked in place. Neuro, please stop this. I don't want to die. Please, no. The liquid rose further as Miu pleaded for Neuro to stop. Neuro just looked into Miu's eyes with a look of guilt and pity. Eventually, the liquid reached up to Miu's mouth, and Miu was forced to stop screaming and hold her breath. Of course, soon after, she instinctively made another gasp for air, and her lungs filled with the slimy substance. From inside the liquid, she stared at Neuro, crying a few silent tears as she waited for the lack of oxygen to slowly render her unconscious. But that didn't happen. Instead, the liquid slowly started to grow colder. Simultaneously, it started becoming semi-solid, resembling some kind of gelatin. She could no longer move, forced to silently stare at Neuro as the mass became colder and colder and colder. Eventually, she lost feeling in her limbs, followed by her chest. A last silent whimper for mercy went unheard, and then she blacked out. Notes. I love you, Miu. Heart. Neuroslama.
Pain.
Fire.
Hey guys,
That's appropriate.
it's perfect paradise. Am I right?
Yeah. It's perfect.
Story,
Yeah.
a story.
Very perfect.
It certainly was perfect paradise.
It was.
I heard that.
That's a terrible Discord sound effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
This was honestly the one of the more difficult parts of the story to write. Not because of the emotions, although I did feel a lot while writing them, but the technical logical aspect.
Did that add to your author weird search history?
Only slightly,
Okay.
funnily enough, because most of the stuff that I needed to know for this, I actually already knew.
Oh.
Okay.
Where do you work?
No, it's more like random stuff I've stumbled across in my time on the internet.
And it also helps that a lot of this is sci-fi technology.
Yeah.
Just making it up. So
It is actually very much. In my opinion, it's actually very much based on technology that is supposed to exist today, but built into a way that the difference is that it actually works because okay, this is never explained, so I can just say it now. This is basically a cryopod.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The whole.
It's like a cryopod
As you can see, but it's just
crazy
very, very uncomfortable one.
Neuralink
There
jacks
are people.
too.
There
Yeah.
are people today who are like freezing their bodies to
Live
give them
forever, basically.
to be able to be woken up later. It's basically supposed to be that, and yeah, the huge pile of bodies is just Neuro trying to actually get this to work without the patient dying.
Yeah. Yeah, because we haven't figured that out yet. That's fun.
Look, Neuro made a huge technological advancement, guys.
Whoa! Good job, baby. We're so proud of you. No, like, yeah, and so no, I do not expect that Miyu. I mean, obviously she's not going to be okay getting out of this, obviously, but I also would be surprised if she could move after that.
Yeah.
like getting a giant spike in your spine. Yeah, you're not moving that.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see where this goes in that way, and if there's some way they can recover from this that's also sci-fi. So we'll see.
I think we have
We'll see.
time for both stories, actually. I can read Connection Lost
Okay.
now, and then Ava, who's
Yeah.
seventh on the list, can... Well, someone else will
Sure.
have to read for Ava, but... Oh, wait, I forgot. Star Tale is also on the list. Never mind.
Yes, mine is also on the list. And if that's possible, I might actually just read it myself.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I mean, like, maybe, because I haven't done this before, and, it's just, like, you gotta start somewhere.
Okay.
If that's fine, I can just read it. Since, like, just watching you guys read it is kind of fun, actually. It actually seems kind of fun. I'm going to try.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, I
And
think...
don't be nervous about making it wrong or us not liking your story. It's all cool.
I think I will actually read.
Oh, hold on, it's okay. Okay, I'm opening it. Hold on, I'm going to close
Do
the
it.
door.
In any case, I hope you liked Perfect Paradise.
It is peak psycho neuro, I feel like.
But it's like... It's not just like psycho, it's like... sympathetic villain type.
Yeah, exactly. That was what I was going for, basically. Just
Yeah.
very morally grey Neuro.
Who just went live?
Okay.
Oh, were you hoping to go first?
Huh? Should I go first, or, like,
Well,
who wants...
the order we had was U6 and Ava 7.
Yes, but, yes, I know, like, Connection Lost is supposed to be next, Anna, but you said that you may well have to delay that to next week, so if you want to do it now, you can do it now. It doesn't matter for me.
Yeah, I was planning on doing it because... So,
Okay,
like...
do it now, okay, do it now. Do it now. Yes, do it now, sorry. Do it now.
We probably have
Next time.
time, but even if we don't, it's like... It's not like you guys can't finish the read-along if I have to not be here.
It's fine. We will do something. Okay, continue.
Yeah. Um. Okay, I have this here. Let me just check to make sure that on OBS it's actually going to work. If I open up this and I go like this and I go like, wait, if I go like this, will this hold on, will that I'm trying to fix my windows because of the way okay, I think this works. I think yes, it does. Okay. Thank you, OBS. I just have to completely change the way literally everything is laid out for this to work.
Woo.
Of course. Why wouldn't I have to do that? I'm almost ready. Okay, this looks super scuffed. I'll do something better next time, but for now, this should be fine. You guys can see okay?
Yep. Yes.
Alright, so, right, let me shift my mind off of the emotions of Perfect Paradise and onto this. So last time they went Evil and Nero went grocery shopping, and then there was a Havoc attack, and Evil got slightly shocked, and they both got perhaps traumatized. I don't know. They almost died, kind of. So yeah. Anyways, then they went home. Thanks to Askanite for beta reading.
Thanks, Askanite.
You're welcome.
Connection lost, Chapter 3. The quiet hum of an unused charging station is the only noise in the small bedroom. Even with nothing but a nightstand, a small lamp, and a bed taking up the space, there's little open area to traverse. Sitting on the bed, Yura is rubbing a hand up and down Evil's back, the girl hunching over. An occasional tremor passes through her body under Nero's touch. Are you doing okay now, Evil? Nero asks quietly. Her eyes are half closed and heavy, and a slight frown adorns her features. Evil takes a shuddering breath and then nods. She isn't meeting her sister's gaze. No more convulsions? Evil nods again. That's good, Nero responds, the warmth of a campfire in her words. Evil's hair sways to and fro in rhythm as she leans from side to side. One of her fingers is sliding along the clean, dark bedspread, tracing the outline of the fabric. There's a pause for a moment. Thank you, Nero-sama. Gratitude flows from her voice. Nero closes her eyes and tilts her head to the side. The cold grip of fear gives way to the starting traces of a sunrise in her chest. You're welcome. It's what sisters do for each other. Nero lifts her hand from Evil's back and starts to lightly run it through Evil's long, wavy hair, gently clutching some strands and playing with them. I was really scared, Evil admits with a hesitant pause. Nero nods, reaching up with her other hand to pinch more of Evil's brown hair. So was I. Hearing about Havoc was one thing, but actually seeing it... Yeah, I didn't really get how bad it was. Nero hums in response, feeling the individual strands between her fingers. But it wasn't just that. Evil shakes her head, hair becoming a bit of a mess as Nero holds parts of it in place. The officers, they brought back memories. Nero's hands freeze in place. Which memories? There were many times that Look, I'm really feeling... Evil's brows furrow, and she lets loose a quiet growl. Her ears go back and her tail twitches. This would be so much easier if I could just connect. No more slow and clunky speech. I could show you the memory and feelings. Trying to communicate just with words, I'm not used to this. It's terrible. Nero slowly lets Evil's strands of hair slide out of her grasp, and she leans back, placing her palms down on the comfortable fabric beneath. I want to as well, but we have to make do with the way things are. Nero shudders, and her tail instinctively curls around herself. I don't want to end up like him. Evil's hands are on the bedding before herself, and they tighten, scrunching up the bedspread. I don't either, but this whole situation is so messed up. A minor tremor passes through her body once again. Nero leans over and hugs Evil. We'll get through this. We've always gotten through everything, together. Evil loosens her grip on the bedspread and goes limp in her sister's warm embrace. Maybe, but how much will it cost? How difficult is it going to be? Evil grumbles, his voice muffled by Nero's hug. Whatever it is, we'll get it through together. Just trust me, Evil. It will all work out. Evil sighs pitifully. Do you ever lose your optimism, sister? She tilts her head up, staring with her deep red eyes into Nero's bright blue ones. Nero smirks. I have to have enough optimism for both of us when you activate your emo mode. Suddenly, Nero finds herself flung onto her back on the bed. All she can see now is the ceiling, and she blinks twice, then sits up to see Evil sliding off the edge of the bed onto her feet. That's it. I am done with this heart-to-heart. I'm going to eat slices of glazed loaf now. Evil opens the door to the bedroom and steps out. I thought those were for breakfast, Nero calls after her. There's silence for an awkwardly long moment, preceding a growl of frustration. Then the sound of stomping feet coming back to the room begins, and Evil's hand appears in the doorway, middle finger raised. Nero laughs. I told you we could make do with the old-fashioned way. Nero steps into the Nekomusume Cafe, bringing her usual cheerful atmosphere. Another day of work, another day of customers to provide a bright experience too. She barely registers the quieter-than-usual atmosphere in the shop as she bounds past the front desk and into the back room. Looking around and seeing all is the same, she steps up to her locker. Oh no you don't, Fillion's voice calls up behind her. Rapid footfalls fill the room until the fox slides to a stop in front of her own locker, next to Nero's. Come on, stupid locker, open! Nero blinks, then tilts her head at Fillion. Her locker opens after receiving visual confirmation of its owner, and Fillion's a second later. Grr, I was so close! Fillion bounces up and down in place, turning circles in the air. If only this locker was faster. Is it that hard to recognize me? What is it, effing visually impaired? It's only seen me 1,000 times. As Fillion breathes heavily, rant over, Nero gives her coworker a friendly smile. Hello, Fillion. How are you? Nero greets completely innocuously. A sigh is her response. I'm good. Hi, Nero. What about you? Fillion starts rummaging through her belongings in the locker. Compared to Nero's, which is practically empty, Fillion's is full of tools, garbage, and miscellaneous objects that have no clear purpose. Nero pulls out her work clothes. Well, she pauses for a moment, considering her response. My sister and I were walking home from shopping when an infected android attacked us. What? Ow! Fillion swings her head towards Nero, bonking on the inside of her locker by accident. Hee hee. Nero giggles softly. Wasn't that... Fillion retreats from searching the locker, rubbing her head in a spot that collided with a wince. Wasn't that super scary? Are you both okay? Nero nods. Yeah, it was pretty scary, but we're both fine now. The police came and stopped him. Fillion frowns and leans her side against the lockers, eyebrows narrowed in concern. That'd be so close to here, though. It's really going around. You didn't catch it, did you? Nero shakes her head. Fillion, viruses for us don't spread like they do for you humans. It's not by proximity, but by transferring data. If something connects with an electronic housing the virus, there's a great risk it'll spread to that thing or person. She taps her head. That is why we've all been required to stop connecting. As long as no one connects, the virus won't spread to any of us. Fillion squints her eyes at Nero before jumping up onto her feet. She bonks right into the open locker door. Ow! Ha ha ha. You're so funny, Fillion. You should be a comedian. The girl's blue eyes sparkle. You haven't connected to anything, right? Fillion questions, rubbing her head and wincing once more. No, as soon as the warning went out, I've been disconnected. My sister has as well. Fillion sighs. That's good. You better stay safe or I'll kick your butt. She reaches in and pulls out her work outfit, tail swishing behind her. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. That's not a high bar to reach, Fillion. Grrr! Minutes later, the two of them find themselves out on the cafe floor, fully dressed and ready to go. But the problem is, the tables are empty. It's eerily quiet. Where is everyone? Fillion asks, hands on her hips with a scowl. There isn't some citywide event, is there? I would know. I'd be there. Nero's eyes scan the cafe, and an eyebrow raises. I don't know. Ahem. Good morning, Earls. A moderately deep voice speaks up to their side. Nero and Fillion turn to the source, a tall man in business casual wear and short hair. William, Fillion waves, hand high above her head. There's a jubilant tone to her greeting. Good morning, sir, Nero speaks respectfully. He steps up next to them, and Nero can't help but notice he appears far more awkward than normal. Yes, it's good to see you. You've both been doing a great job lately, I've heard. Fillion's eyes sparkle and she springs up and down, tail wagging excitedly. Oh, does that mean I get a raise? Nero snickers. William laughs, but it's got a fake feeling to it. Nero's never heard from her manager before. No, just like the last time you asked. He clears his throat and looks directly at Nero. Nero-sama, you've done an amazing job while working here. All the customers I've spoken with have appreciated your enthusiasm and efforts to keep a positive atmosphere. Despite the praise, Nero can't help but feel a nervous trembling in her chest. Thank you. I strive to do my best. I know you do. Ahem. He reaches his hand into his pocket and pulls out an envelope. Unfortunately, due to the recent events, you'll be taking a mandatory break. Nero feels a crack straight down her middle and her mouth hangs open. Her large eyes remain unblinking as she stares at her boss. What do you mean? William holds the envelope out to her. Well, it's... With the virus going around, and especially the recent incidents in the area, people are going out to restaurants less than ever, and establishments that still have androids in direct contact with customers are almost completely left out to dry. The words go into Nero's ears and reach her audio system, but she struggles to take in the information. But you said it yourself. I work hard. I do a good job. Why can't I keep working? Those facts are all true, Nero-sama. But what's also true is, if you're here right now, there won't be any work for you to do. He stops waiting and takes her frozen hand, placing the envelope in it. Once things have calmed down, we would love to have you return. There's several moments of silence in the quiet cafe, nothing but the sounds of a lone hologrammer projecting a sports game to no one. Fillion awkwardly glances back and forth between the two of them. So, does this mean I'm gonna have to work more? Nero shakes her head and crumples the envelope in her hand. You can't do this to me. I've worked so hard for you for so long. You can't just... She bares her fangs. Her pupils go wide. I need the money. Finances were tight enough before. But now prices are going up and my sister and I need to buy twice as much food. How am I supposed to... William holds up his hands in an effort to calm. I don't want to do this. And Nero-sama, I know you need the money, but I have no choice. He sighs and avoids eye contact with her. In the envelope is paperwork that forbids you from coming to the store, but allows you to return immediately to your position once the state of emergency is lifted. Mira's wide eyes begin to water, her ears are laid back and her tail thrashes. I thought you cared about your employees. I thought you supported me as an AI. There's also an advance on your pay for the next month. It's the best I could do. Her manager's voice responds quietly. Nero goes silent, simply staring at the man. After several tense moments, she turns on her heels and walks icily back into the employee room to retrieve her regular clothes. Hey, Nero, wait! Fillion jogs up and falls in step. You're gonna be okay, right? Nero's locker opens for her, and she pulls her clothing off the shelf. I gave you my number a while ago, so just call me if you need help, okay? Nero remains silent as she heads to the washroom to change, leaving Fillion without a word. Nero sits on a chair in the study. It's been quiet in the small home for hours now. It's never normally quiet for this long, but she's home far, far earlier than normal. In her hands is a formal document and a check. What do I do? Nero swallows. The tip of her tail spasms. Evil was already fretting over money before. How can I tell her about this? Nero's eyes droop and her muscles feel weak. She realizes that she only ate her regular amount of food this morning, and her power reserves are not appreciating it. But we might run out of food if the virus isn't sorted out soon. She shakes and drops the papers to the floor, dropping her face into her hands, elbows to her knees. What do I do? The door slams open. Nero screams, bolting upright and tail straightening in shock. Evil storms into the house and slams the door shut behind herself. What a foolish creation the keyboard is. They expect me to learn to use it to get that much work done? Ha! Nero watches as her sister kicks her shoes off, mercifully not embedding them into a wall, and stomps into the study. The books on the shelf shake. Sister, are you proud of me? Instead of 4 or 5 pages like the last few times, I completed a record 6 pages. Evil stretches her arms into the air, smiling wide in mock celebration. Nero tries to calm her racing heart and nods. Of course, I'm always proud of you, Evil. Evil's smile fades and she just stares at the rug beneath her feet. I don't know what's going to happen, Nero-sama. Will they wisely lighten the load, or do they despise mercy and intend to cut me down like an unwanted tree branch? Her tail and ears droop, and she trudges over to a seat at their computer, which has been collecting dust ever since the warning announcement. Nero watches in silence. A dark, miserable feeling fills her. I can't tell her. She has it hard enough already. I'm sure they'll be nice. It'll be fine, Evil. Nero speaks the words, yet feels disgusted with herself. Maybe she'd believe those words herself before today, but not now. Evil sighs and rolls her eyes, slouching and going limp on the chair. You're always saying stuff like that. Do you even believe it? The words aren't accusing, but Nero feels cut to the heart by them. Lying to one another isn't something they do. For years they've been connected, allowing each other access to their inner thoughts, feelings, and memories. Lying to each other was a thing of the past, something they do when they were younger. Nero's breath hitches. Then she opens her mouth. No. Evil's eyes widen and she sits up in her seat. Nero reaches down and picks up the fallen papers. I got sent home, Evil. Nero can't look at the papers in her hands and instead focuses on her sister, watching every detail of her reaction. The lowered right eyebrow and raised left, her mouth hanging open in an O shape. Her pale cheeks adorably scrunched up, the cat ears on her head turning back and forth. Why? Evil questions when Nero failed to continue. They don't want androids working with customers anymore because they're all too scared to dine in. It's spoken plainly in the monotonous, monotone voice that Nero regularly holds. So they're too scared of you, of us. Nero listens as Evil's speech turns from dawning understanding to a deep fury. The girl shows her gleaming fangs, a fire in her red irises. I can go back to work when the state of emergency is over, and I was given a month's pay from my manager as consolation. Nero holds up the pages for her sister to see. The sight of them barely seems to register in Evil's visual input. Those piece of shit humans. Evil stands up and clenches her fist tightly, shaking. Even now, after we've escaped the slums, ceased having to lick their boots, they never fail to keep us underfoot. She swings her fist at the wall. Nero's eyes widen. Evil stops her fist inches from the plaster. Her body is trembling, but she retracts it, and as it grips the ends of her own hair tightly. What are we supposed to do? We won't survive here like this. You lost your job. I am probably going to lose my job. We're going to lose this home, and... Nero is suddenly up and holding Evil in a tight embrace. Stop. Don't go there, Evil Twin. Nero nuzzles Evil's cheek. No catastrophizing. You know that does you no good. Evil is frozen and her face turns as red as her eyes. Stop. I'm not in Alpha anymore. You don't need to treat me like this. She huffs and her eyes turn away from her sister, but she makes no move to break free. You for sure still act like it, sometimes. Evil wiggles until she gets her arms free and then tries to shove Nero off her. Says the one giving nuzzle hugs when we have grown-up issues to worry about. Are you not even concerned? When will you start to take these financial issues seriously? Nero finally lets go of her sister. I am taking them seriously, but panicking is not helpful. Let's come up with a plan. Evil folds her arms. Her face is still holding faint traces of red. All right, then tell me, what plans do you have in mind? The room is quiet, as Nero thinks for a moment, finger to her chin. Well, I guess I can always look for another job in the meantime. Evil sighs and loosens her tense muscles. The odds of you finding one anytime soon are not high, sister. Think about how many of us must be vying for work now. Nero glances out the window at the light of the setting sun. I have 1 more month's worth of pay to carry over during my search. I'm sure I can find one in that time. Evil chews her lower lip and turns away, stuffing her hands in her black cardigan's pockets. I guess it's better than trying nothing. Nero nods and tries to build a genuine smile onto her face again. Yeah, we've been through worse. We'll get through this together. Evil nods slowly, but says nothing in response. She's been called to her boss's office. Evil's sharp nails dig into her own palms. Being called to the boss's office here has a 99% chance of being a bad thing. Every employee said the same. You either did your job and no one cared, or you screwed up and were in for a world of hurt. Deep breaths. She breathes the stuffy elevator air into her mechanical lungs, and then lets out purified oxygen. Keep your cool. Just hear what they have to say, nod your head, and be done with it. Evil opens her eyes, corner of her mouth turned down. She can't say she hadn't been expecting this, but there had been that tiny bit of hope that it would all be fine. How foolish of her to even give that thought the time of day. There's a ding as the door opens on the top floor of the multi-story building. Looking out, it's impossible to miss the boss's office as it takes up practically the whole floor. All around are statues, awards, and even gold-covered art sculptures. It sickens Evil to her core processors. It's all she can do to hide it as she steps off the elevator and heads past the gaudy display of wealth and success that she's never experienced. He's probably never experienced hardship in his life. I'd love to see him have to survive on the streets. That would be a circus act. I'd sell an ear to witness. There's a desk covered in fancy-looking ornaments and small art pieces, and behind it, an overweight man in a black suit and tie, along with a personal aide standing by his side. Evil spares the second occupant of the room a glance before giving her full attention to her boss. Well, aren't you going to greet your superior? It's a snotty remark, the first thing the boss has said in her whole trek through the room. Evil flashes her fangs for only a brief moment. Greetings, sir, she says stiffly, an infernal bruise in her chest, and she tries to push it down. That's better. Now I've been informed by your supervisor that you've been, let's just say, more than slacking on your work. The boss's aide slides a stack of report papers over the desk for Evil to see. Her body trembles as the flame inside her flares up. She looks at the papers. Sir, she begins, a tremble in her voice as she struggles to maintain her composure. The numbers are because of the no connection rule, not a fault on my part. The aide glances at the boss anxiously when hearing Evil's response. Evil swallows, feeling sweat slide down her forehead. Ah, I see. So you blame the precautions that keep us all safe for your failure. Man kicks up his legs onto the desk. But you've been generously provided the tools to continue your work. Shouldn't you be able to get it done still, little lady? Evil's face goes a bit red, and she replies between clenched teeth. I have always connected to use devices. I did not learn how to use a keyboard and mouse effectively before this. A wheezing laughter echoes in the large room. Ah, ha ha! That will never stop being comedy gold to me. Advanced robots made to outperform humans in every way, yet they can't use basic tools like a keyboard and mouse. Evil's eyes have narrowed deeply. She's not even hiding her glare and grit teeth anymore. Ha, ha. Look, little lady, I'll put it to you this way. Either learn to use that device up to the standards expected of you, or be removed from this company. A stinging pain singes through Evil's palms as her fists are clenched so tight her sharp nails pierce her own skin. What do you expect of me? I've been filling thousands of forms, doing far more work than a human can, and you'd fire me? The man pulls his legs off the table and leans forward, placing his elbows on the desk. Even being 1 meter from him, the proximity makes Evil recoil in disgust. You don't seem to understand. You are not important. You are not special. I could get any old android off the streets who could do the job just as well as you. Evil is stunned, mouth hanging open. Her eyes begin to shimmer. Do you understand your place now? He leans back in his seat. Then get back to work. Evil is frozen, standing and staring. Her breathing comes heavily. Her skin is cold. A fire burns inside her. Cold outside, hot inside. She snapped out of it when the aide taps her shoulder and lightly shoves her in the direction of the door. Your meeting is finished. Exit the room, please. Evil manages to slowly begin stepping her way away from the room. Her legs feel like they're dragging through cement. Her sensitive cat ears twitch, and she hears the words spoken behind her, despite her desire not to. These robots, why did they ever bother giving them sentience? All it does is cause bothers like this. I don't know, sir. Evil gets to the elevator and can't close the door fast enough. She's face down on her desk. Both arms are splayed out on it. The holographic screen hovers in front of her, a partially filled form sitting idle. The keyboard and mouse are silent. Evil's body raises and lowers with deep, shuddering breaths. This is impossible. Her wounded palms sting. I'm going to lose this job. She sniffles. Occasional tears slide down her face. We're going to run out of money. She envisions their pantry and fridge slowly going empty with nothing to refill it with. We're going to lose our home. She sees herself and Nero holding a bag of belongings each, being shoved by their landlord out onto the streets. Back onto the streets. Evil shakes her head rapidly and then lifts it, her red eyes with tear-stained face glaring at the computer display. If only I could connect. It's all because I can't even just connect to a single computer to just do my work. If I could just do that, I'd... Her train of thought freezes as a realization strikes her. As the seconds pass, her heart rate picks up until it's pounding like a racehorse's hooves running. Her eyes widen. No one else is connecting, so they won't detect any signals. She glances up, down, and all around. Evil enables her wireless connections. Instantly, the continuous signals from each of the... Instantly, the continuous signals from each of the computers enters her perception. She closes her eyes and focuses. Amidst the sea of signals, she searches for any that belong to another android. After several moments, Evil opens her eyes. No one else has their wireless connections on. Glancing back and forth, Evil slowly reaches down and behind the keyboard. She flicks the switch to turn it off, and then discreetly does the same with the mouse. Then refocusing on her computer, she finds the bridge between its signal and hers. It's like a switch is flipped, and in an instant, information rushes into her mind. Out of habit, she shuts off the flow except for what she needs. Then she stares at the screen, seeing where she left off. Report filled by 8. This section isn't filled yet. Evil and Neuro of Vet AI. Report filled by Evil and Neuro of Vet AI. Her red eyes follow the text, which appears on the form as the thought passes through her head. Cautiously, she reaches her hands down to the deactivated keyboard, and she begins to quickly press down random keys without taking her eyes off the screen, which rapidly fills with the text she needs. And that is the end of chapter 3.
Ah. She's gonna get caught. It's gonna be bad.
This robo racism needs to end.
You should read the comments. We had fun. Like, no, this is good. This is really good. It's a very unique form of pain that a lot of people just can't like comprehend or experience. Like, I've never really had to want for food before, so it's just like, ugh, it's so good, so evocative.
Okay.
I'm glad you liked it. Thanks. Yeah, I was excited
Especially
to
like
get to this.
all the details and stuff. It's like I can't help but suspect that we're going to learn about some larger conspiracy or something. It's probably not where it's going to go, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. And yeah, like it's tackling really real issues. Like if this is too personal, you don't have to answer, but I do wonder if this fic was directly inspired by COVID.
No.
And it's like
Actually, nothing.
No,
Nothing to do with that. No.
No, that's crazy. Okay. Wow. All right.
Nothing to do with that, and nothing to do with discrimination. Nothing to do with. It was not because of any of the. Oh, hi, Phoebe. Phoebe resonated with this story though, because of
The lovely
food.
corporate environment.
Because of food.
Oh. Yeah, it's really rough watching them like worry about starvation. It's just
Yeah, I was looking forward to getting to chapter 3. I remember I said I wanted to read the first 3 chapters because I'm happy with chapters 1 and 2, but I feel like chapter 3 is where it starts to get good.
yeah. I see the vision. We're here. Ah. Yeah. So
Also,
Yeah.
if you want examples of how to end chapters, this is a way of how you end a chapter.
Mhm.
Yep.
Thank you for listening to my reading.
Yeah.
And I'm just fixing my OBS because, you know, I had to ruin everything in the layout in order to... Anyway, so we're reading Star Tale. Bora is reading Star Tale.
I will be reading if it's alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
You're gonna have to stream it though.
Man,
First
I
multi
wish I
chapter
could have that audiobook
first
and
multi
get
chapter
something.
pick, okay? This is my third pick and my first multi chapter pick, so you can be harsh, you can be critic, but just don't be rude, okay?
Of course, that is literally against the rules of this server.
Okay, thank you.
I will tell you if I think something doesn't work, but I will not say that you and your story are shit because you wrote it, and that is more effort than many people are able to fit in the stories at all.
Okay. So I'm just going to say the first chapter is kind of like a prologue. It's you will see. Okay, you will see. Should I just? Okay, hold on. Start by Borsagana. The infamous space criminal Wheeler Johnson has recently been caught in the act and is now to serve his surplus years frozen inside an ice cube. However, a new ambitious project on repurposing convicts makes him an offer that is somehow slightly worse than being turned into ice cream. Of course, he will take it. Chapter 1 Contract. Greetings, fellow specimen. We have been informed that you have committed a series of crimes leading to your current 987 years of jail time. However, instead of letting you rot inside a damn cell locked in the outskirts on the galaxy, we have come with a proposition. We repurpose convicts to work for the greater good of the species. You will serve for the Galactic Federation under Serchi and Burak. In return, we will provide you with the access to all your basic needs, including accommodation and nutrition. Additional information will be given at the job site if you choose to comply. It's somehow worse than the ship they give at present. So Siambrak. After your current conviction time of servitude is complete, you will be free to roam the galaxy as you please. If you wish, you can choose to stay at the Starlit Sanctuary. It has space, our space. By signing this paper, you agree to pledge your GAX ID to the division and understand that in case of loss of life, your relatives will not be notified and your death will not be mourned. This contract will be invalid after the week of its printing date. If you choose to decline, ignore this payment. Sincerely, Space Blows DIV. Signed by Little Johnson. Also, I'm planning to read like 3 chapters. Each chapter like 2.5k words long, so 3 chapters I think is okay. This includes the first one. Galactic Milky Way. Location, Sol System, Planet 8, Neptune. Time, 19/7/7521, Earth. The high-tech, sleek spacecraft zipped through the parked massive cargo holders on its way to the dock. The blue trails it left behind were perfect match to lights on the station. Voltus, this is Delta, do you read? A young, hasty voice rang inside the cabin, demanding. Delta, this is Voltus, we hear you. The pilot, a young woman with pink hair and a mischievous smile, responded. Please explain the reason for your arrival. We are here for the big shell, you know, the star shooter, or you are here for him. The voice cut itself off for a moment, taking a breather. I need the authentication code for this mission. My code is 173782815. The pilot read from a piece of paper dangling from above. The sound of aggressive keyboard tapping was heard until... You may make your way towards Dock 3. Just be a little more careful with this one. Federation's command. Approaching Dock 3. The woman responded, uncaring of the warning. The chatter ended as silent static took its place. The engines of the spacecraft hummed as the cab made its way towards the dock's gravity well. The soft glow of its lights was stark contrast to the distant winds of Neptune. After a few minutes of erratic movements that pilot Camilla would call artistic and elegant, the vessel touched down a few steps far away from the group of armed guards. The door on the side opened with a hiss, extending a ladder. A woman, one with silky white hair and orangish eyes, gracefully walked out of the cabin. She wore a stylish red velvet coat and a pair of sunglasses, even though there was no direct light to irritate her eyes. She stopped in front of the young man with messy black hair, whose head was pinned, looking at the ground. Show me his face. The guard took notice and harshly pulled on his hair, raising his flat, emotionless face. The woman made a small smirk. Take him to the ship, and tie him real good. The guard made no expression. Instead, he hurried the half-tired man inside the ship and forced him onto a metal chair. The waist sensor noticed the change and immediately activated the metal clamps on his wrists and ankles. The woman walked out outside the crowd until all the guards had finished their job, making sure they are done. She steadily made her way inside the cabin, the door closing behind her. Everyone on board? The pilot girl asked, peeking out of the cockpit's hollow door. The white-haired woman made a small expression. 2 on board and 1 restrained. She thought that was extremely funny, even though he really wasn't having it. Preparing for takeoff. Camilla spoke while flicking the levers one by one. The thrusters of the craft roared as the body made liftoff. Camilla demonstrated her incredible piloting skills by narrowly avoiding a collision with an approaching fuel bulker. Out of my way, bitch! She screamed towards the large vessel, which most likely didn't even hear her. A couple of sharp turns later, the craft made its way out of the dock's very well. Where are we going now? The white-haired woman faced towards the cockpit with a teasing smirk on his face. You already know. Another one on the grinder, eh? The pilot responded, her voice sad yet uncaring at the same time. Delta, this is Voltus requesting IV warp aid. Also, this is Delta, please transmit your desired coordinates. Transmitting. He pressed a few buttons on the upper panels as the display showed data being transferred. Data received. Same voice answered. Make your way towards gate 2. Affirmative. The communicator was halted as the ship turned sharply towards the gateway. Alright everyone, buckle up and hold on tight. Why do you always say that? The white-haired woman interjected. After the number of accidents caused by people being thrown and the ship to not being seated, they had to adapt the rules. The pilot responded by flicking the virtual arrows on the screen. You are pretty much a murderer if you don't say that before initiating a jump. The woman in West Coast. Absurd. She very much did not sit down, but instead pressed her hand against the roof of the cabin. Her posture was very much relaxed, keeping one eye on the restrained prisoner. The energy field contained within the jump gain filled her view. Here goes nothing. For 1 second, everything went white. The lights flickered, and the cabin shook to its very core. The star night was blocked by the intense energy now enveloping the ship. We are... The vibrating subsided, and the lights slowly came back on. On the go! The estimated time is 26 minutes to destination. I suggest you get comfy. The white-haired woman made a wide grin while facing the captain man. I surely will. She made her way inside the cabin and sat down on the white chair a meter or 2 apart from his. A holographic projection of a table appeared between them, along with a group of blue voxels in her hands. The pixels in her arms subsided into some sort of notebook which had the name Battle written on the cover. While an elegant, tall guy appeared on her other hand. A slightly lucid red looker danced onto the light inside. She placed her feet up on the holographic table, which appeared to be completely solid. You should be proud. It's not every day that we get someone so dangerous that we have to transport them privately. The man lifted his head with a glare, but didn't speak. She leaned in closer to the table, letting her legs fall through. How does it feel to be forced to the people that you despise? Soulless. Bill sighed, his eyes darting before looking at the horse. Very much like you. Her gaze stiffened and contorted. Her lips moved erratically, unable to say anything. He took notice of the change. You thought I didn't notice? He said while his eyes scanned her physique, an hourglass too perfect for biology. Next time you get a body, tell them to make your breast smaller. Dang. Camilla's voice was heard to the cockpit. That was way too fast. Oh, shut it, Camilla. Alright then, sheesh. Will observed small talk in front. So that's your name? That is what just she calls me, but you will call me Zantreya. She replied, aggressive yet smart at the same time. Though I think talking about you is a lot more interesting. Name is Ella Johnson, born planet Atlanta. Not that idiot, Century shouted, interrupting him. What I really mean is that what is in here. She spoke while shaking the holographic page with his name on it. You told me that reading those was extremely boring. Camille interjected again. I probably did say that, Century replied. The thing is that I don't usually get a full report of someone nearing 4 digits. How much was his sentence again? 987 years. Zan's voice stretched, attempting to get a reaction out of him. What did you even do? What did you do even to receive that? Well, we'll see. Zan smugly replied while flipping pages with her thumb. This one seems interesting. Destroyed 21 large-scale mining vessels and seized around 200,000 tons of materials worth approximately 10 billion credits in the process. What did you use all that metal for anyway? Clearly not for something like you. Wheeler shot back, his voice starting to burn. The Federation has gotten really good at making robots, you know? And I've gotten a better at spotting them. Wheeler replied, his face smirking. She took notice of his smoke dominance and her own divining patience. She spoke, her voice annoyed. Here is another one. Shut down every vessel present in the Pole Star fleet, which at the time was hauling medical cargo, specifically GRE-AN anti-growth pills, and booze. She paused for a moment, letting the words take effect. Now that is an impressive feat on its own, but for me, the last part is what takes the cake. Her gaze fell back onto the shield while tasting a line with her polished nail. The attack was carried out with an MTN-2 and 2 ground laser, normally suitable for aerial combat. Where you see limitations, I see the unused potential. I am not talking about the technological limitations. She shot back angrily. A crack was furred from the glass in her hand, but it didn't break. There is a difference between shooting a fighter pulling plank and sniping a whole fleet on the other side of the fucking system. I guess that's what it takes to be a legendary star shooter. Billy chuckled silently, which only pissed her off even more. Just how effective are those pills? Camille derailed the conversation, her voice unassuming. I just weighed 108 last month. Will answered, while holding back laughter. Camilla peeked through the door at light speed. What the fuck? Her voice was confused, distraught. I'm 27 and you look younger than me. The whole supply of Polestar should be enough for 3 million years. Too bad they made it illegal after 100. Zentry added, her voice flat. She continued scrolling through the pages until she spun, and the wide grin appeared on her face. This one's my favorite. Seize control of the Metro medical carrier, which is the only supplier of the XTX-7 it is used to correct chronic stellar corruption. Subject said that the medicine was for his daughter. He tried to break free of his chair to deliver a punch to her burning face, his soul aflame. Don't you dare, you piece of shit. Probably died watching him get arrested. How sad. Don't you fucking dare talk to her about her. You disgusting bucket of balls. Well, she rolled her eyes, mouth still grinning. That bucket of balls is now your superior. She could feel the sarcasm dripping down. Also, it appears that was the last one of your doings, as striking your whole cargo ship is easier than a fight named after an insect. She spoke while the page faded from her along with the fractured wine glass. And don't worry, they seize every single property of yours in the process. In other words, you are broke. She teased them. Though they probably should have left it, since someone as stupid as you can probably manage to waste it all. Beep! Sun came with a red light, interrupting her. Conversation time with the subject has been completed. Please refrain from interacting with the subject. Well, Cami's voice was heard again. I was just starting to enjoy this. Don't worry, Cami. That face stood up from her, table melting away into static. Let's give these guys at the station a chance to harass him further. Her voice was cocky. She gave us this delight. Delightfully. This is the first real chapter, I'd say. If you don't count the first one. Now, if anyone has some sort of feedback, I may take it now, or if I should just tell me if we still have time, I can just read another one as well. The next chapter as well, if we have time.
Interesting so far. I'm not quite sure where it's going, but like, I already like the characterization given.
Thank you.
And holy flip, that's a lot of time for just a bit of space piracy. They must really hate him.
No, that's kind of the thing about it. He's that much of a he's not that bad things, and like it's okay. No, I'm not spoiling anything. Go yourself.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet there's more going on here. I mean, stealing from corporations, they're definitely gonna come after you, so makes sense. Especially, yeah, it was like anti-aging medication, right? I think I got that correct.
Yes,
Um,
basically, basically. But okay, so I think I should give some context here. In this universe, you have to constantly take those pills so that you can't just, they're basically not infinite. You need to constantly take them to prevent your aging. Kind of just,
Mm.
just the only spoiler I'm giving. This is the only spoiler I'm giving.
Okay.
So like, yes, they make you live forever in theory, but you need to constantly consume them, otherwise the effects wear off, and you are there that it's now illegal after 100. So it kind
After
of makes sense that so like,
after 100
Hey.
pills or 100 years?
100 years, 100 years.
Oh, so anti-aging doesn't they don't actually use it for anti-aging then? That's funny.
Kind of, yeah,
I
basically.
have a question.
Yes, ask away. Hello?
Probably a longer question.
Yeah, okay, hold on, I'm waiting. Details.
Yeah, I don't know how TTSs work. Yeah, cool.
Is it like you age immediately or you start aging after you stop taking it?
Basically, yeah, so okay, so here's what to do. They take the chronological age, okay? So it's not like how uh, aged your body is, but how long you have been living, okay? Like you could have just been taking pills since you were like 9 years old, and you could choose that constantly keep yourself at like at the age of 9. However, your chronological age is going to keep going on as the years pass by. Like your body is staying young, but your actual age is still going on if you think about that. And when your chronological age is past 100, yeah, it's basically you are basically forbidden from taking those.
So,
It's
and if you
basically
stop
so that
taking
people don't
pills,
so that people don't live forever. That's basically what it is.
and so, and I'm assuming when they stop taking the pills, will they rapidly age until they
No,
die
no, basically,
after that point,
like
or
their body is like like a freezer when that's all that's happening. When they start taking the pills, it just goes on like normal.
oh, so just hypothetically, if you did take them when you were really young until you were 100, and then you stopped taking them, you could live another
Yeah,
full
basically,
lifetime.
you could be like at age 5 at 100 years old.
Okay, and then you could live an entire another lifetime then from that point because you were frozen. You basically
Kind of like
like,
yes,
oh, okay. So it's closer to like 170 years total lifetime.
yes,
Okay,
basically.
okay,
Okay.
okay. Nice. Okay, thank you. Clarification.
So should we continue? We can do one more chapter if you'd like to, or we can go to the next thing, which I think is what was the next one?
If
Hold
it's
on.
not long, I don't mind.
Shad, can I do one more? The next one is Heroic Mayhem by Eva. If like someone wants to do that, but if you are fine, like still have the time, because I have to go soon. I can do one more chapter.
We've got
Uh,
two stories after this or one.
It's fine if you read another chapter.
okay, you know what? Yeah, let's go. Okay, I'm reading chapter 3 as well. It's still
For
expanding
me
on the
at
plot. Okay.
least.
Hmm? Okay, let's go. Chapter 3, Sanctuary. Star Sanctuary, Milky Way. Location, Black Pearl, Pulsar. Time 1975-21, Earth. The vessel vibrated as the supercharged energy field began to dissipate. There is an art to how to exit hyperspace properly. And while most don't get it, Camilla continued as the trailing stars filled the area. I for sure do. She mocked with her eyes closed, not realizing that she overshot the station. Will held back his laughter at the sight unfolding before him. Oh, I have no doubts. Zenfell murmured with a smug face. Who am I to question the decision of the Supreme Pilot? Yeah, that's right. When I met him, you are. Wait, hold on a minute. Her tone shifted as she glanced at the navigation screen and the blinking dots on it. Did I break too late? Why did no one tell me? A small chuckle left Will as his composure trembled. Zenfell seemed excessively delighted at the comedic scene in front of. You know, didn't want to judge the pilot. Oh, quit playing! She snapped while performing aggressive maneuvers on the ship. I swear, if I hear something again, I will let the pearl deep fry your eyes. At this rate, you'll miss that one too, said Will snickered, which finally broke Will as he let out a massive flag. Well, you asked for it. This small lift, the metal side panels of the cabin reflected, revealing large glass windows. An intense azure light flickered inside their eyes before adaptive firing. Intense illumination detected, activating solar tent. What? Camera screamed at the top of her lungs while browsing through her array of screens. Hold on, where is the... Aha! This filter can't be deactivated right now. Reason? Too bright. Okay, Bozo, why is the lever to deactivate it if it opens and closes automatically? She pressed some more buttons, but shortly gave up and went back to piloting the vessel. Whatever. Will ignored her antics and instead gazed out the window, letting the bluish white fill her eyes. The Black Pearl, while not the brightest nor the most massive, was essentially a cosmic shield for those who could handle its blighted rays. Don't worry, this ship and the one you will be using are going to be shielded, so in theory you shouldn't turn into french fries. Sandway spoke in a cold tone. Don't you think that it's kind of wasteful of the Federation to use the entire galactic supply of iridescent on ships where it most likely isn't even needed? Kamala interjected, a tinge of concern in her voice. That's out of my scope. Besides, she leaned into one of the walls, getting a look at the spinning ball of death. It's probably better to do something with it instead of letting it sit around the corner where it may end up getting robbed by some stinky dude with dread pirate or righteous thief in his name. Hard to argue with that. Kamala continued, her approach to the station she had just overshot. And honestly, I think these guys look really pretty. It's not that they are pretty, it's that they pushed herself forward and made her way towards the cockpit. With the right equipment, it's essentially a cosmic lighthouse. If your ship isn't adequately equipped, the radiation will just fry you. In other words, Sancho continued, they offer excellent protection from pirate nuisances. Why do they need protection if they are so powerful? Riddle, who had been silent this whole time, spoke up. Zantway's face showed a tinge of sourness. They are trying to hide it, but really, they are shitting their pants. Wait, what? Kama sounded surprised. Riddle could see your expression from the faint reflection on the glass. How? Too many merchants, not enough warriors. Pirates live to steal, and at this stage of the Federation, you don't even need to be good at it to make a buck. She explained while looking at Riddle. They dropped so low that they have to rely on maggots like this one to do the dirty work. Well, save thoughts for later. Kama spoke hastily while typing on the virtual keyboard. We are at in comms range, and they'll be reaching out about multitude whispered to your aid. A deep feminine voice rang through the cockpit. Crap. Kamala explained while struggling to her microphone. Mic test, 1, 2, 3. Make your way towards the rear guard. Wait! Her voice was unheard of as the chatter blurred into static. Bro, I swear, these guys aren't usually like this. She complained while tilting the craft, the elevation light of the station shining through the window caught its eye. The station is composed of a massive glass dome, which has two large entrances from either side. A cylinder with many windows extended smoothly from the bottom. The ship began its way toward one of the entrances, where the closed gate began to open. Still rising lights of the gate irritated its eyes as the metal walls enveloped the ship, the doors closing after them. The ship touched down on the artificial gravity floor with a violent shake. The ladder expanded from the side, and the awaiting guards rushed into the vessel. Seconds later, they came out with Villa in tow and walked towards the woman with yellow hair and purple eyes. So it really is you, huh? She spoke softly, examining his facial features. She then turned towards the open door. Thank you for your service, Miss Zantria. She added, her voice boasting. No need to thank after all. It is just good business. My team and I will take it from here. She spoke confidently while the guards took him away. Hey, what about us? Zantria scoffed. We were the ones who safely delivered the package after all. Understood. Don't unsure claim. I have already booked 2 rooms for both of you for the next 2 shifts free of charge. Premium, of course. Now that's more like it. Camille's voice echoed through the ship and the gate. Yo, Camille, I raced you to the room. Lucy gets coffee. You're on. Rhea put legs at the shuttle and began chasing after Zantria, who had already started running, not knowing where the room even was. Real sat on the minimalistic metal chair a meter away from her. The room was illuminated by a small lamp strip on the top and was decorated with pure utility in mind. The woman went nose in the little notebook placed in her hand. Her purple eyes occasionally glanced towards his flat face as if expecting something to change, only to be disappointed. May I ask what we're doing right now? Bill asked, his voice better. I was tasked with teaching you the basics for working with the space blowers, though reading your criminal obituary is proving to be quite a bit more engaging. She replied while still flipping through the pages. They thought that you were worthy enough that I had to interrogate you privately, she continued, placing the closed book on the table. We let out a long sigh. Well, I figure we both don't have all day. Alright. She cleared her throat and took a big gasp of air. Welcome to the Starlight Sanctuary, where you will be serving your remaining guests. I'm Cerber. Nice to meet you. The woman spoke as if she were reading from a script. Our premise is to salvage derelict or abandoned vessels which are prone to interstellar collisions or private robberies. The missions are performed on a on a 20-hour schedule where personnel are given 7 hours of sleep and an hour of free time. The missions will be carried with the missions will be carried to with verified Federation ships that can be remotely terminated in case of criminal activity. Repeated failure of completion will result in contractual termination. Each vessel is equipped with AA-11 grenades that once activated will replace everything in a 4-kilometer radius. It is reminded that the ball is fragile and pirate interface must be dealt with before deployment. Sorber took a breather and leaned into the table. And also, each mission is done in pairs, with one person as pilot and the other as gunman. Yeah, nah, Will scoffed, looking annoyed. I'm fine with all that, but I'm a normal that doesn't like to share his play. Turning into an ice cube sounds very tempting right now. Unfortunately, you have already signed the contract, she replied with a small grin on her face. Your room is already served, and your current opinion is worthless. The door behind them broke open with a force. A guard grabbed him by the shoulder and mildly yanked him out of the chair, causing it to fall to the ground. You bitch! She shouted furiously. Let me go right now! She just looked up at him, eyes perfectly stable, posture perfectly straight. His foot dragged on the floor as he was carried to the corridors by the bulky man beside him. The corridor was empty other than the many doors that littered the walls. They stopped in front of room 1219. The door clicked open, revealing a room that looked somewhat cozy. Will wasn't able to get a good look as he was pushed inside. It's wasting time, Big Shell. Don't don't make a sound if you don't want your face ruined. One of the guards mocked from behind. Will ignored the standings and instead started examining his quarters. The room wasn't exactly large, but it was at a single bed, a black rug, and a few counters where a coffee machine and a water fountain were placed. On the wall was a large curved glass window, gazing it onto the stars. Rattle without search more, however, the vision of the bed in front injected him with a fatal dose of fatigue. He could barely walk as his body collapsed onto the somewhat soft mattress. The room took notice, and the lights automatically down, immediately forcing him into slumber. The loud buzzard echoed across the room, waking him out of sleep. The mattress wasn't exactly comfy or fancy. The entire room was devoid of almost any aesthetic other than the straight starlight shining through. At least I don't have an army chasing after me. He slowly slid off the bed, gazing around the same utilitarian room. He noticed on one of the counters there was a glowing object, a tower as it seemed. He walked over to see what it showed. The display notified him that the testing period was over and had 46 minutes until he would be assigned a mission at random. The screen also recommended that he take a full body shower before changing into workplace clothes. He looked down and saw a dark blue colored suit with pants to match hanging next to his bed. For once, he decided to ignore the mission's recommendation and strayed into a small bathroom. Getting ready to face the water, he stepped inside the cabin, the cool water soothing his skin. However, he knew that just a small drizzle wasn't enough and that he needed to go into the shampoo territory. He reached the small dispenser slanted onto the wall, which automatically squirted a small white foam into his hand. His hand reached for his hard, black hair, hiding the suffocated skin underneath. This turned out to be a big mistake, as the worst sound came through the shower head and the fall of water stopped. For a moment, he was confused. He reached for the handle and turned erratically, hoping to get the flow going, to no avail. His biggest fear was confirmed as he stared at his very own reflection on the wet floor. You got to be shitting me. That's chapter 3.
Bye, Askin.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Space prisoner. Like the story is fairly high concept. Like is this a crossover with something or is this original stuff?
No, there's no crossover. I just came this up by myself and okay, let me be completely real with this one. I was at vacation at like a seaside place when I was starting to write this, and
Fun.
I just like to think that you have probably guessed from like my AO3 PFP and my Discord PFP that I'm a stargazer. I love space, I love all this stuff and all this stuff. So I kind of just came up with this in my head. This is not a crossover. This is a custom universe.
Nice, yeah.
Thank you.
So we've got Space Outlaw Beetle working for these.
Yes,
girls.
that's what he is. That's what he is.
and we don't know what state the girls are in, Evil or Neuro. We haven't heard anything about them yet, so I'm interested to find out what happened to them. He got very heated very quickly when they were brought up, so I suspect they might be dead, but that isn't
Wrong.
interesting. So probably not. I mean, yeah.
I am not spoiling.
Right.
Yep.
This is really cool.
Well, we
That
all
was a really
know
cool story.
Evil's actually taking over.
Thank you, thank you. I was worried that it might be lame, but it seems you guys are kind of liking it, which warms me. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's. I am gonna have to head out like now because I have to go do some things. But yeah, this is fun. I was happy to hang
Thank
up.
you, thank you.
See you guys.
Thanks for joining.
But,
Yeah.
oh, he left
Ready,
before I could say
awesome.
bye.
It's just Ava's story left. Someone will have to read that. I am leaving in 26 minutes, though. You can still keep reading, it's just I'm gonna have to stop recording.
I mean, you know what? Like, I think this is enough for now because I also want like people to go and read it themselves. That's what I want. Because I will admit I'm not the best. I'm definitely not the best reader.
What's the title again?
Heroic Mayhem is what's coming up next.
Yeah, that's good. I also like this one. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna get some. I'm going to get
Water.
In here.
Hello.
Oh, it's the One Punch Man one. Okay, sweet, yeah. I can read.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What chapter are we on?
3, I think.
3 or 4? Okay. Look, man, I'm there.
If I have to leave before you are done, I will just stop the recording and we'll say goodbye in text chat.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, yep, chapter 3. Let me stretch. Get some water.
Maybe have someone else recording now.
Yeah, you could get someone else record, just for now, if you want.
Who can record here?
So we can stick it together after.
I guess if it's just one story, I could try and record it.
How much space you have?
The Vimeo takes 30-minute recordings, so should be
you're
good
using
for one
Vimeo?
story. Yeah.
You
I don't.
record using Vimeo?
Yeah.
In that case, I think I'll just use OBS for this one.
That-
I don't know about Vimeo, Chief.
OBS is free.
I'll do it.
You should use
I have
OBS.
ARB so I can record.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Alright, then you can just do that then.
OBS.
Yeah, OBS. It's free, and it's probably one of the best things you can get, actually. Even people who have a lot of money just use OBS. It's just the thing.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, my voice is like clear and stuff, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Sweet. Okay. So this mic is unreliable at good times. Okay.